Folks, we are live. We have some very special guests today. We got Old School Pokemon and Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles, who both have their own YouTube channels. They both have their own streaming platforms. And yes, they also have the PokeFlips podcast if you guys are not subscribed to that. All of those can be found in the links below. We got Dan's YouTube. I didn't even put Old School's YouTube because he doesn't post much, so I put his eBay instead because that's where he runs his eBay lives. And then we got their PokeFlips podcast. They do every other week episodes there too. So if you guys want to check them out, make sure you do. But yeah, how's everyone feeling today? Good?
Feeling good. We're booming.
We're booming. Well, you know what? I'm so glad you said that because that's what I want to start out talking about. We're booming. What do you think that means right now? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's depending on the side you're on. If you're trying to collect, if you're trying to buy only, it's not great, right? It doesn't feel great to buy the sets you normally buy for 90 or 100 shipped to your door. Now you're having to pay 300, 250, whatever it may be. It doesn't feel good if you're interacting in that way. If you just retired last year on a retirement of pallets of Pokemon cards and you're just selling those off now, it feels like pure bliss. So, and then depending on how you're interacting in the space, I think all of us are neither one of those extremes. I think we're somewhere in between. We both buy and sell. So it's some blend of feel good, feel bad.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like we were just talking about beforehand. It's like I was asking Dan like if he's scared of like the inventory he has because I know I get that way, and it's just like I was never scared when things were low. When everyone else was like panicking in 2022, 2023, everything's cheap. I wasn't worried at all. I was buying. I felt great. It's not until things go through this period where I start getting worried. And this is where I feel other people aren't as worried, which kind of gets me even more worried thinking about them, you know? It's like...
Yeah,
I know PokePlumber's never worried.
I do not enjoy it. I do not enjoy it. It's nice from the selling aspect, but from the buying aspect, it is not enjoyable.
It hurts so much to sell, though. Like, every time I sell, it's like a day later, it's another 100. 2 days later, it's like, I don't even, it hurts.
Yeah.
It just hurts.
No,
So what are you doing? You're just gonna keep buying? No stopping?
I mean, I haven't been buying booster box. I'm not buying like Journey Together. I mean, I'll buy what comes to me. Like if it's a fair price, I'll buy it.
That's actually a great question. So without me, Nick, I mean, obviously Nick, the collector side, but like, you know, me and the Old School, we both stream. Dan has streamers working for him. If you guys didn't know, he has streamers on eBay it's Fanatics. It's gonna be eBay Live eventually. But
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on Journey Together? What are you doing to get enough product to stream with?
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna instantly sell out. Unlike Scalper Dan over there, I'm gonna do MSRP release night and then market thereafter. But I feel like what I'm getting, I got 200 boxes of just over 200 boxes of Surging Sparks. For Journey Together, I'm down to 136 or whatever the even case count is. So it's a lot less than Surging Sparks.
136 what?
Boxes.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So a lot less than Surging Sparks, and that's gonna sell out so quickly, I feel like. So yeah, then it'll just be going on to the open market and trying to buy loose packs from people at a.
People are trying to sell them at $14 a piece right now.
It's
insane.
Insanity. It's wild.
You have any idea the offers I'm getting on this right now? And I'm like, no, it's just I'm putting it away. Like I've never had an offer like this for a brand new box because I guess people can crack it and make.
Did it reach 300?
But what's that?
Did it reach 300?
The offer was like $315. What are they going to sell it at if they're paying $315 for this?
Dude, Burning Shadows was $315 at like the beginning of 2024, I think.
It's crazy. Market is just crazy right now. Impatience is expensive everywhere in life. A lot of people will consume more than they can afford with credit cards, spending other people's money, paying a high interest rate on that.
Dude, I just made a video on that. It's so dead on. They over-leverage themselves.
It's everywhere. Like when the PlayStation 5 comes out, they only make 50 million units and there's 100 million people that want it, whatever the actual numbers are. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But scalpers, all these people will come in. They'll see the opportunity. they'll buy them from Best Buy for 500, 800. They'll turn around and sell them for double because people just have to have it, the hot flashy thing, like right then and there. I think if I were only collecting, I need to have every set, but I could be patient. 6 to 24 months. Give it 6 to 24 months. Every set historically has been available sub MSRP, and I think that will continue to be true in the coming years and decades. Patience.
Yeah, hey, there's really bad echo. So before we go, like Dan, when you're talking, you're echoing. Alex, this happened last time, but it was like something that you had to switch, and then the echo went away.
I think I was on the wrong mic.
Okay.
I tried muting, and it didn't go away. I think we're good now.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, it had it on the webcam mic, and I think that picks up my speakers. I'm sorry, guys.
I wish they would sell a webcam that was only a webcam, but everyone I see, they all have mics.
Yeah.
You can actually,
well, it's StreamYard too. Like OBS doesn't do it. StreamYard always reverts back to the webcam. Hey guys, let me know in the chat real quick if it sounds better now. All right, much better. Okay.
It does.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. And you never know when it switches over. You can't tell.
You should be able to disable the camera microphones in your like computer settings. But anyways, that'll be we can talk about that after the stream for your next one. But yeah, like if I were even being an investor, like some amount of product I set back, I speculate on the value of it long term. I'm not setting hardly anything back. Like Surging Sparks right now, I have almost nothing set back. I've almost sold it all. We just got a reprint, right? 2 boxes, 2 singular booster boxes, not cases. I'm getting 2 booster boxes.
And you sold it all? Distributor.
I have 3 cases left. It's on a pallet. I delivered a pallet over to my dad's this morning, and that's like our investment pallet number 2.
A pallet of Surging Sparks?
No. 4 cases of Surging Sparks, because like that's what I'm locking away for long term. But it's Surging Sparks. It's 151. There's some Crown Zenith on there. There's a little bit of like a lot of different things. Like it's I hate using these. It's a mutual fund of things, right?
It is though.
Yeah. I started that back with my dad last May. We did the first pallet. We just closed out the second pallet. And so I was chucking around cases of Pokemon product earlier this morning with my dad, and my grandpa was there too.
So 4 cases of Surging is all you have now?
Yeah. And
I'm exactly the same way. I have exactly 4 now.
Dan, I cannot wait until you put out that video of the first pallet. Like I am looking forward to that. Yeah.
By the way, when he put out that first pallet or the investment video, Rudy commented on it.
Yeah.
I know that.
Wait till you see. I don't want to do spoilers. Wait till you see not only what pallet 1 is worth today. Our cost basis for pallet 1 was like 44 grand, 22 grand each. Our cost basis for pallet 2 is like 52 grand. But it's all like I'm giving my dad a good deal in that Prismatic went on at not MSRP at my wholesale cost. All these sets went on at my wholesale cost. Twilight Masquerade's on there, Obsidian Flames, like all the sets, Temporal Forces, all these sets that are doing crazy things now. They're going on at $92.50 a box, and he's buying into half of them. And I delivered that pallet today. Our cost was $52. What it's already worth today when we wrapped it up, we put it on the pallet rack. It's insane.
What you know what's funny? Like
right now,
me and Nick were getting in tons of like arguments when Stellar Crown came out about me saying like it didn't matter and all that stuff. And it's really funny. Around that same time, Safari Zone put that order out of SV9, and no one knew what SV9 was. But it was $100, and I told everyone in a video. I said, I don't care what it is. I don't care what's in the set. I don't need to see what's in the set. We're in a bull market. You buy anything and everything. And I got a lot of criticism for that, right? And so it's funny because if you look at any stock market investment, crypto investment, anything in the last 3 to 4 months since I made that pre-order, not that great. That pre-order, I bought it $100 a box. Well, now Journey Together is up 120%. And so it's like everyone's like, you don't want to have your money locked up for that long and give them a free loan. I didn't give them a free loan. My investment appreciated without having to hold it.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually crazy. I ordered a little bit, shipped directly to one of my streamers. I tried getting it to both, but they sold out too quickly. When you look at it, I've had a distributor for 11 years now. I pay $90 to $95 a box, depending on how my distributor is feeling on that set. I'm paying $92.50 for my Journey Together, I think.
So hold on, wait, it really changes based on how they're feeling?
Sometimes I think Surging, they charge me $95. Sometimes I'm paying $90, sometimes I'm paying $92.50, sometimes it's $95. It fluctuates some.
That's crazy.
I don't have any leg to stand on to try to like, oh, I only want to pay $90. It's like, yeah, right, buddy. We're gonna pass your allocation on to the next guy. I'm not even gonna argue it. I'm just gonna pay it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like I buy from them. I have to pay a 2% credit card fee. I have to pay a handling fee if the order's too small under a certain number.
Well, don't they give you the
Safari
option
Zone,
for ACH?
I've talked to them about that, and they wouldn't set it up with me. I asked about getting terms. They're just like, no, just do a credit card. It's easier. I'm like, okay, whatever. I have a rewards credit card, so it's a wash anyways. But I pay a 2% credit card fee. It washes with my rewards thing. But buying through Safari Zone, I don't pay sales tax anyways because I have everything set up legitimately. But $98 a box to your door by the time you factor in the 2% credit card fee. When I get my other stuff, so I drop ship it right to my streamer. Where when I get the other stuff, I have to take it to me, and then I have to my own labor. I have to pay to ship it to PK or Ponga, and it's so like even if the market goes down, it's like I'd rather have $98 to their door than $92.50 to my door. That's in Safari Zone gets it earlier too. Safari Zone usually gets it to them earlier than I can get it to them, which is crazy.
I mean, they already provided my tracking numbers for me.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, usually I'll get Safari before the distributor.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
I usually get distributor
nice.
on like Thursday, the day before release, and Safari Zone. I think like Ponga used to buy through them historically a lot. I think he gets it like the Monday of release.
Yeah.
So like an extra 4 or 5 days in advance.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Surging Sparks are like, I guess it kind of goes to any of you guys. Are any of you guys beginning to like sit on less or take in less than you normally would in like the market like 6 months ago? Or is it kind of business as usual? Like, are you definitely trying to like keep less and wait for things to stabilize?
For me, I would say packs. I'm trying to buy less and have like less of a back stock, just because packs are getting so expensive. But with singles, because the singles move so consistently every night, singles I'm buying a lot more of, singles and graded cards. But the packs I'm trying to dial back a little bit on.
Gotcha. So more because it's like more liquid, not because you're like afraid the pack market's going to fall more than the singles market or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know which it's the packs are so random. Like Shrouded Fable never used to sell. Now everyone wants Shrouded Fable. So you don't know what sets are going to do well, what sets aren't going to do well.
Every night something like that happens, it freaks me out. Like, you know, we had this time last week where all of a sudden Astral Radiance started to sell. Yeah. And like it got to the point where I was going through like a couple hundred packs, and I'm like, wait, okay, guys, you gotta tell me what's going on. What I miss? What's going on with Astral Radiance? Is the card popping off, or I gotta know, because it's like it's so random why all of a sudden one of these sets will pop off on stream and everybody's buying them one night. You think you missed something.
It could be the Garchomp. The Cynthia and Garchomp could have helped.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
It's interesting. For me, it was Paradox Rift. So we sold 500 through January, February, and the first week of March. Last week, we sold 1,200 packs of Paradox Rift.
What happened?
Out of nowhere. And it's very like anecdotal. Like my stream has a different consumer base than Nick's and then Alex's. All it takes is one whale. One whale comes in and decides like, I want to pull this card. One individual could buy 800 packs within one of our streams, right? Like that. Sure. That's what it can amount to.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Pokey Plumber, what you, man? You gonna start doing like a reverse rip and ship where you just don't ship, you just rip?
Probably do something like that.
Well, I heard you on It Was Never Just a Phases channel yesterday. You say you're like trying to get to the point where you're just like doing a live stream where people hang out, but you're just ripping packs for yourself.
Yeah, because like the thing is, I sit there and I open all these packs by myself anyways. So why not like have like a night where everybody comes, they rip their own packs, I'm ripping my packs, and I'm just doing it on stream where like people can just hang out, shoot the shit, and have a good time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I rip all the time anyways, so it's like if I could share that enjoyment with other people, it'd be fun. So I'm gonna try to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the topics I wanted to talk about today. Is like, I mean, not so much any of you guys, but like, you know, obviously me. You know, I'm always in the center of every controversy online. But like, I just want to kind of bring about this idea of making Pokemon fun again. Like, when did this hobby get so like unfun? Why is everyone constantly at each other's throats over something? We're always trying to point fingers at somebody. It seems like no one's having fun anymore. Why is that?
It's money. Yeah, exactly.
Money's the root to all evil. And now it's just like back then you didn't have everyone turning this into a business. now I look every which way. It's not all three of you guys run businesses. I run a business, right? But I think it's just like now you have so many people that have turned this into a business, and it's all about money now instead of the love of the hobby and enjoyment of the hobby. However, you can be a business owner and still love and enjoy the hobby. So, but I think that's how people are perceiving it. Like it's money this, and it's always a battle because then you have the scalpers who want to buy this, sell it for more. Then this person wants to sell it for more. It's just like a constant. It's just money.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got it's funny, right? Because like I've said this before, but like now that we're all here, it's like all through your life, you know, your teachers, your parents, your peers, they all tell you the same phrase, right? It's find something you love, find your passion, and make that into a business. That's what we all did. And now we're all getting freaking despised for it. It's like, we just did what all of you told us to do our whole lives.
Listen, there's so much more negativity now because the thing is like every day it's a whatnot person getting caught scamming. Literally every day it's something. You have girls doing cocaine on camera now. They're up 14 hours straight. It's insane what's going on. And you're seeing so much negativity with the hobby. So now you're seeing all these scalpers. You're seeing lines at the doors. You're seeing robberies, theft happen more than ever. So now instead of all this positive fun and happiness, now it's like you have so much more negativity. And that's what people, they want. Listen, if you're positive, it's never going to sell. Negativity sells, and that's unfortunate, but that's how life is. People love the drama, but now you see people seeing from outside the hobby, watching fist fights happen at Costco. So it's just so much negativity, and that sucks the fun out of things.
And it's just crazy because it's like it's feast or famine when it comes to product. If there's a margin there, everyone buys everything to make that margin, and there's nothing available. And if everything's there, readily available, 151 this time last year, 151 was by the pallet available at almost every Costco across the United States. And it's like, where were the MSRP criers then? Where were all, like, they weren't in. So demand is very fickle. Consumers can be very fickle. They all pile in at once. I want everything. And then at some point it'll come around. I'm not sure when, I'm not sure why exactly, but sometime in the next 6 to 24 months, Prismatic will be available. Prismatic might be the one. Prismatic could be the one exception that never becomes readily available for sub MSRP. But Surging, I think will. Journey Together, I think will. Like most of these sets will. And all the people complaining today, asking where it is, it'll be there and they won't.
They'll be gone.
That's
exactly
the way that it works.
They'll be gone.
Vivid Voltage was the same case. Everyone was crying, where is it? Well, a year later, they were gone, and it was there. It was there for years, and now it's going back above MSRP.
But look at Celebrations. Remember when Celebrations first came out? You couldn't find it anywhere. Celebration. Like one of my LGSs wouldn't even sell by the ETB. They were literally selling packs, and it reminds me so much of Prismatic because they were getting so much per pack. They only had three cards in it, right? It was 3 or 4. So yeah. I think about Celebrations. I think about the boom at that time, and I'm like, they can do it again. I remember seeing so much Celebrations on the shelves that no one wanted it. As long as things are in rotation, you have plenty of time. I've said this before. Your average collector is here from 6 to 18 months, if that. And once they they see a little bit of dip in the money, they're right out the door. And I think it's inevitable. I truly do. Right now, it doesn't like when Vivid Voltage ETBs were $100, Darkness Ablaze ETBs were $100. It felt like, oh, they're only going to go up from here. Everything is going up. And we're kind of in that situation now where it's going a little bit longer and we're like, oh my God, everything's going to keep going up. But that's not the truth. Pokemon will figure it out. They always do. They were the biggest IP in the world. They've always figured it out. And I think inevitably it will happen. I don't know how long. But maybe.
All right, hold on. I got to put you on the spot, Nick, since all of us here are obviously evil streamers.
I never said anything negative.
No, I just did. Go on. I guess for fun. How can all of us continue to, obviously love and enjoy the hobby and have a business in it and keep streaming without being part of the problem?
But the thing is, if the market was better, you guys would be doing even better right now. So you'd be able to get packs. Your margins would be 1,000 times better. So it has nothing to do with you guys ripping. But yeah. Because literally, if you can get a Journey Together box at 90 to 110 right now, you guys, your margins would be incredible. That's not part of the problem. You're bringing me off.
Well, I said that's at the beginning. I'd rather get Prismatic for a distro price and sell it for $4 a pack than I would sell it for what I do now.
Yeah, of course.
Every day of the week.
Yeah,
it feels way more uncomfortable to buy like Prismatic is a set I want to have in stock at all times. I just pulled up my numbers. We sold 5,600 packs of Prismatic this year. You know how many I was allocated? in my first wave, I was allocated like 2,000 packs. So I did buy some amount of prismatic at my normal $3 a pack. I got it for $30 ETBs. That stuff was gone opening week. That stuff was gone. And Nick too. Nick can tell you. Nick was a more honorable person.
I didn't sell a
than me.
single one.
See,
I got two ETB cases for my distro. They went on my shelf. Every pack I sold on stream was bought secondary.
You bought it. Yeah, bought 80 to 90, 95%, and then selling at whatever margin you got to make. It's like, yeah, people get mad. And it's like, who do people think? I sold 5,600 packs that were ripped live on stream. Who do people think those went to? Those went to consumers. You're mad at me for selling to consumers willing to pay whatever they're willing to pay. It's like, I don't understand it.
Who are the people getting pissed off though? Because I'll tell you what, there is a very real difference between the videos, the Instagram reels, the TikToks, what you see on all these drama channels, and what I see in the rip and ships. Because not just my rip and ship, I go on everybody's. Everyone's relatively happy, having a great time, rooting each other on. Yeah. They're giving away packs to the next people in line, saying, "Hey, he didn't get anything. Give him one of my hits." Everyone's super supportive. That is the community that we should want Pokemon to be. So who are all these people, all these negative Nancys all over that are actually pissed off about it?
It's like all the scams that happen on eBay and people being afraid to sell on eBay. It's the vast minority of people, but you only talk about the negatives. Nobody talks about the positives because that doesn't get the clicks. That doesn't get the attention that the negatives would.
I mean, it's like I would rather hang out, like not even rip packs, just hang out with that fan base there because everyone's so much happier and nicer and like supportive of each other. It's like, it's not so you get in the market finance business space where everyone's pissed out and like at each other's throats. And, you know, it's and not even if like, if you got one investment or play that did good, they got one that did better and one up each other. Oh, you should have put your money in this, not in that. It's like, why can't we just be happy for each other? What happened to that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I wish these sets were all $5 a pack. Like I wish people had the ability to buy more because I can, percentage wise, I guess if I'm selling for the same percent margin, I do make more money when the pack price is higher, but I'm also carrying a lot more risk. So simultaneously, I'm saying like, hey, Surging, be patient. It's probably going to come around to sub MSRP. Well, what does that mean? I only sold 72 packs of Crown Zenith last week, and Surging Sparks last week.
Crown
Surging
Zenith?
Sparks.
Oh,
Surging Sparks. I said the wrong set. I only sold 72
what are you scalping them at?
Last week, and I'm selling them at 110% of market, whatever market is. I don't know. But I have 1,000 packs of that. I have a lot thinner inventory on that because I think it's going to go down. The sales are slowing down on them a little bit, but I would rather have those at $5 a pack. I would rather have that much less risk built into my inventory. Like all these packs at these inflated prices, if and when the market turns and drops 20, 30, 40%, I'm going to take a bath on some amount for sure.
I mean, think about this. This past weekend, I literally bought Celebrations Lance's Charizard boxes for cheaper today than I was buying them when they first came out. And that's what I constantly have to remind myself too, because I'm an emotional person. So I'm like, shit, this is this expensive. This is this expensive. But I have to remember, like, time and time again, Pokemon's done the same pattern. It's the same thing every time. History repeats itself.
I didn't watch the video.
Rattle shared it. Yeah,
I saw the Rattle thumbnail. Yeah.
Like she was actually.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I didn't watch the video, but I saw the thumbnail.
Yeah, and
I hang out on the OnlyFans channel, like so I don't know.
Like, you know when I pack a lip and I go to the side, so she goes and you hear, and then she's like, I have to do like 12-hour stream or something like that, and like,
Jesus.
Yeah. So she's doing some blow.
Maybe she's working for Andrew Tate, dude. Give her a break. She's got to keep working.
My thing with these supposed reprints is why aren't they here?
No, I think some sets we are going to get screwed on.
Surging Sparks boxes, but then you look at if any of you guys look at the Heatwave Arena, that set has absolutely crashed. It went from 120 and now it's already down to $80. So obviously,
but it just came out today, though. It just came out today.
You can already buy boxes for $80, where like yesterday they were 120.
Keep in mind though what 80 is. 80 is double MSRP. 80 is
$40
equivalent to a $300 box in English.
Yeah, but
MSRP is
it
like
means
30
that there's a lot of
Yeah,
supply of
I
it.
paid $240 for 2 of them just because I wanted to open one.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. I just wanted to open some, so I freaking bought 2 boxes at $240.
Don't lose
Hey.
the plot with Japanese though, because like it's crashing from 4 times MSRP to 2.5 times MSRP.
Figure we talk about Tag as the best grading company. Guys, let Nick talk because he's got the most feelings about Tag. So Nick, what do you think about all this?
Dude,
We've got 2 Nicks here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll say I had like an hour phone call with Jesse. He's really big into Tag. I mean, they're not perfect yet. They're working on getting better. Nothing in life is perfect. They're trying to get better. So I see it this way.
That stash though, that stash is perfect.
I need a haircut. I got a haircut after this. And they'll fix my mustache. I'm on YouTube now. I gotta look fresh. Not that I'm a business owner or anything, but I care about YouTube more now. Isn't that insane? My plumbing company that got me here. But anyways, so they're trying to get better. I'm always going to be a PSA guy, but it's competition for PSA. Hopefully PSA does better. They have to stop upcharging people on PSA 9s for like a modern. They upcharge someone 50 and 50 for 2 PSA 9 cards, which is kind of crazy to me. But competition is good for everything.
Well, I know Dan's always been like one of the big proponents of like just going anywhere that makes the most margin. So like, I mean, I know you've always graded with every company. Are you now turning a certain amount of your cards to Tag now?
I planned on submitting to Tag. Like for the past few months, I've just been back on my mind. Like I want to try them out to see what's up with it. Well, the week that I have a stack of 20 Tag cards right here. It says Tag ready to go. They're $75 now. I wanted to do the full report. It's $75 to get the full 1,000-point scale report. So, yeah, I'm probably not grading with them right now.
Is that really what they went up to $75? Well,
it's supply and demand. Like they're a small new company. They don't have, yeah.
Yeah. So right now, the amount of cards that are coming in monthly right now is insane. It's like crazy. But now that they're raising the price like that, it's like that's why people like Tag because it was cheaper. You know, their presentation's beautiful. I'll give them that. Man, I didn't know they were 75 now too.
I think you can still do the basic one where you just get the single numeric rate, like
no, but 9, it was way
10,
cheaper
whatever.
to do what you wanted to do, and I think that's neat.
Oh, it was 30 like 2 weeks ago, and now I think it's 75.
That's a big jump. Yeah. That's
so where would you put your like conditions? Like if you said you put like your best condition ones a Beckett, and your worst one's a PSA. Where would Tag fall?
I don't know their scale yet. I was going to do an experiment because like I've never held a Tag slab in my hand. I don't have any data to go off of how they grade, but generally Black Label is like the most stringent. And then depending on the card, I know there's PSA 9s that get cracked and then they get a CGC 10, they get a BGS 10.
They get a PSA
9s, they get a PSA 10. Like it's all kind of arbitrary. That's what Tag is trying to solve for. Tag is supposedly supposed to be the one that like it's a robot. It's repeated every single time. I wanted to test that out, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like I will have the ability to do that now. But anyways, like generally Black Label is like the cream of the crop, the lowest rates. Then like CGC Pristine, BGS Pristine in there, and then PSA 10 and on down through the BGS 9.5 and such.
But now that PSA raised their grading standards, I feel like there really should be another grade in PSA.
They claim though they didn't. I listened to an interview with Ryan Hogue with Nat Turner. They said that they updated the terminology. I haven't looked at the data yet. Like Pokemetrics is a website that scrapes. I know GemRate is another one. If people into sports cards, they might be more familiar with GemRate. From what I see, I've not dove in deep to it yet, but from what I see, they're still grading approximately 47% of every Pokemon card submitted at PSA in the past week, in the past month, is still getting PSA 10s. And that's what it's historically been. It ebbs and it flows. It goes up and down a little bit, but I hear tons of people saying, oh, I usually grade this many 10s, this many. I hear tons of people anecdotally saying they're getting worse grades, but the data's not showing that. The whole data, all the data. Like I don't care about your 100 card sub. I care about the million cards PSA graded last month. And looking at the million card data with sports, there's some data that shows it's down a fair bit, but with Pokemon, I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong data. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. I need to verify, but We'll see.
It's kind of like my old conspiracy that a lot of people kind of held was like for a while there, it felt like New Jersey was grading much harsher than California. You know,
I've never bought into those really. I mean, I've definitely gotten slapped with
It
some
just
out of
seemed
both
like every time,
facilities.
dude. Like every time I would see New Jersey on the package, it was just like clockwork. I would have way more nines, and like every time I see California, I get all excited. And there, sure enough, I'd have like an 85% 10 rate, and I'm like, it's just like, how does that coincidence happen so many times?
I think in the short term we don't see it and we don't believe it, but in the long term you 100% have to believe it. Like I remember us talking on PokeFlips about like the 2 cert versus 4 cert versus 5 cert. We both said there's no difference. But looking at it today, there is 100% a difference between.
That was a big deal back then. I remember that.
Yep.
4 certs, that was like a big deal when that like became a thing.
People get crazy with it though. Like I've heard the 7, 8, 9 cert era are strong, but then the 9, 6 cert era and the 10, 1 and the 10.
That's
like,
just getting too crazy. Yeah.
People get really crazy. Like I'm not trying to pick on anyone, but somebody in here said a 30 card order. I only got 5 10s, so they've definitely gotten harder. A 30 card order is not indicative of anything. That is an anecdote. Like you absolutely do. You've always gotten consistently inconsistent. I've always said you get the guy just got laid last night. The guy just got dumped last night. Your grades will vary. Always, and that's what Tag is trying to solve for. Will they actually?
It's like that with everything, like the pack openings. I saw that comment. So Dan shared me a comment he got on one of his videos about like someone was upset on one of my streams. They ordered a bunch of Fusion Strike packs and didn't pull anything. And so right after their turn, someone else ordered, and I pulled the next person an alt art, and I said, shove that in your Wade packs, and I banned him because he was in the chat saying like I have Wade packs and stuff. I'm like, dude, I just pulled an alt art. You're gone. Boom.
I did the math on it too. Like I'm on pace to open 250,000 packs this year through Fanatics, through my 2 streamers, 250,000 packs. If you sell your packs in 9-pack lots, that's over 20,000 customers. Some people will get really lucky. Some people will get really unlucky. I did the math. So the odds that you pull 0 hollows with a 1/3 hit rate out of 9 packs, 1 out of 38 people. That's every night. Every night somebody's going to get 0. Every night. And I think he bought more. I think he bought, like he said, he bought 16 packs or whatever. I redid the math for that. It's like 1 out of every couple hundred people. Well, when you have 20,000 customers, you're going to have 100 people that get skunked like that. It's just the math. Like people,
especially when people start going back,
always.
like I said, the early Sword and Shield, XY, Sun and Moon. Dude, if they're used to Scarlet Violet hit rates, they don't understand. Those were not like that back then.
Yeah.
And they're not buying from boxes. They're buying loose packs generally on a lot of these streams.
Like Pokemon considered hollows hits back in like XY, Sun and Moon.
And
yep.
Haven't there been times where you pulled like 2 alt arts back to back or something?
Dude, that was the craziest stream ever. I literally pulled a Sylveon VMAX, Rayquaza VMAX, and Evolving Skies back to back. That's got to be 1 in a million.
Wild.
When that happens, though, like somebody's gonna get the other end of that stick. It's like when people see that, they don't appreciate the mathematics of it. Like, hey, we're gonna have to go 1,000 packs dry to account for that luck, right? Like that's just the way that it goes.
Yeah, unfortunately,
people are not very good at statistics.
Yeah, because Yu-Gi-Oh's played around with Yu-Gi-Oh and other games have played around with the mapping the boxes, and it's like, yeah, it's all fine and good in theory, but like then people just figure that out and they take advantage of it. So it's like you can't map the boxes, you can't make all the odds perfect. It's just one of the things you got to deal with. It's luck of the draw.
Yep.
Old school. What about you, man? Are you grading a lot of cards? Or are you basically just running the singles? You just kind of like to get the singles and run them.
99% of my grading is through CGC. I just can't justify it's a double to grade through PSA. And so it just doesn't make sense with the turnaround times. And people in my streams genuinely like CGC. So it works out well. I really like CGC myself. So I think that works out well. You kind of,
and you guys would know much more than me. You and Dan would know much more than me because, like, obviously, I just rip packs. I'm not on a platform where I can auction. So, what's usually better margins for you guys? Is it the packs, the slabs, the singles?
Ooh,
I would guess it's probably the singles.
Yeah,
but
singles would be like percentage margin wise, low end singles, $5 to $10 singles would be best. And then graded, and then packs have what I would say packs have the lowest margin, unless of course like you've had these for years and now they're all of a sudden worth so much. But
yeah.
if you're buying new inventory, packs are the lowest margin.
See, the way that I see, because I only started back in October, I see singles and slabs as a vessel to sell packs. Like I never want my streamers to sit idle. I always want them doing something. I always want them ripping. I love packs. I love pack. Like if we could only do packs, I would prefer it because I just love that it's a fixed margin. I buy it 75 to 85% depending on the set, depending on how many I have, and I sell 110, 115% of market. And I pay my streamer, I pay my platform fees, I do all that stuff, and I calculate my margin. With singles, it's tough. You put up a $5 single and it goes for 20. Well, I just made 400%. Then you put up a $20 single and it goes for $3. Like the variance is absurdly wide in auctions. It's very hard to even calculate. Like if I had to guesstimate, I probably sell my singles and slabs on average for like 85 or 90%. I don't think I get 100% of market. I don't know if Nick can kind of estimate. Like what would you put as a percent on your average?
It's hard to even find slabs on the secondary market right now.
Slabs is next to impossible.
I mean, I post every few days. And I don't get a lot of people reach out.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm thinking about starting to pay like 90% just to get them. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to card shows pretty much every weekend at this point, and singles you could always pick up. Slabs is really, really tough. I want like a $20 slab bin that I could grab a whole bunch from, and they're like non-existent right now.
The man, the myth, the legend, Pokey is in the chat. What's up, dude? Hey man,
doing, Brian?
I wanted to take Green Shiz's comment a little further. He was just screwing with us, but Dan, you can now talk about MetaZoo. What would you like to tell the audience?
So I mentioned earlier that I was at my dad's. I actually had to do an oil change on my vehicle.
Come chill with us.
I drove pallet number 2 of Pokemon over to my dad's to store away for long term.
And you brought a pallet of MetaZoo. Your dad told you to get the hell out of here.
I ordered 3 pallets of MetaZoo directly to my dad, and we broke those down. I took some of them back because I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try. It might fail spectacularly, but I'm gonna try to stream MetaZoo in late April and beyond. I'm not gonna do it personally. I've got a third guy that's ready to go. He's excited for the opportunity, and maybe it'll crash and burn. It'll go terribly, but
gotta risk it to get the biscuit.
For a several month span there, I was saying I'll talk about it more when I can. I can't talk about it right now. I bought into MetaZoo. I am a part owner of it, but I'm a passive minority investor. I have no say towards the game design. I have no say, no knowledge of the print runs, anything like that. I just
so you can't be like, hey, I think we should do like this crazy alt art. Like you can't, no creative,
nothing.
You're just
So here's the way it works structurally. Charlie Herlocker is the president and CEO of MetaZoo. Me and a few people bought MetaZoo with this company, MetaZoo. Charlie's the president, and he also works for GameStop Labs. GameStop Labs is the company that we license the game to. There's contracts, there's all the proper stuff, like legitimate. We hired attorneys, we hired accountants, all this stuff. It's all drawn up to where GameStop Labs has the full 100% discretion over handling everything related to the MetaZoo TCG. We license it wholly and exclusively, and we as MetaZoo do nothing. Charlie, as the president of MetaZoo, and I forget what his title is with GameStop Labs, Charlie has involvement in both, but me and the other owners are entirely passive, no insider. Like I don't interact with GQL at all. I'm buying MetaZoo, the new base out of it. I'm buying it through GTS. I'm buying it through MadAl. I'm buying it through Cardi.io. Same prices, same arrangements as everyone else. And that's the way like it legally has to be. I'm not like getting stuff out the back door. Like none of that can happen, will happen.
So they can't like send you as like a sponsored creator?
No, that's actually the thing. I used to be a partner with Original MetaZoo, and I used to actually get like preferential partner, being like not an owner, but I used to be just partnered with them. I used to get boxes for 56. So MSRP was 140. I used to pay 40% of MSRP. I used to pay 56. And they had map, they had all that messy stuff, which didn't work well. But I used to pay 56. Now I'm paying, I don't think they like you when you share the exact number, but I'm paying in the 60s. More. If you have an account, anyone out there right now, if you have an account with GTS, if you have an account with MadAl, you log on, look up MetaZoo. I think the deadline is passed now, but depending on how big your account is, you're probably paying somewhere between 60 and 67.50. I'm in that range as well. I'm paying. I've had an account for 11 years. I've spent over $1 million with these companies on Pokemon primarily, but yeah, I'm buying it through the same channels as everyone else. I ordered 720 boxes of the new set. I don't know how many I'm getting yet. I don't know if I'm going to be allocated or not.
What's Nick and Nick's opinion? Because obviously Dan can't give a real opinion.
I don't like the fact that my Dan MetaZoo promo is not going to go up forever anymore. It's now going to be worthless soon.
I'm going to be buying them back at some point. So yeah, with original MetaZoo, I actually had a partner promo that was stamped like KA, my logo. I just don't want that headache out there anymore. It was a fun little experiment, but now that I own part of the company, it's like I'm gonna offer to buy those back one last time, and if people want to sell to me, they can, and if they don't want to, that's fine too.
No, so when it first got announced, like the set, we finally saw stuff in the set. The first edition, the first look of the booster box, the first couple of cards that they showed previews of, I really did not like it. And then they redesigned the booster box, and they came out with that like keynote presentation talking about the cards and giving us a look at the cards, and they actually do look good. So I'll give that to them. I am now a lot more optimistic than I was before. I'm also gonna try it on eBay just to kind of have something cheap for people to rip if they want to. I don't know how it'll go. I only asked this one night. So when we were doing pack ripping on eBay, I asked the people ripping packs, would any of you guys be interested in opening MetaZoo on stream? And
You can't ask them; they'll lie to you.
No, there was not.
I do that all the time. I'm like, would you guys want to open this? And I'll get it. And like 5 people order. I'm like, there was like 80 people that said to get it. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. No, none of them had even heard of it. So I don't know how this is gonna go. We'll see.
That's bullish. That means there's upside, right? A lot of people
I did that with Lorcana. Everyone was telling me get Lorcana. I got Lorcana. No one bought it. I'm like,
it'll be interesting. I'll do a little bit with it. I don't think I'm going to do much with it. Pokemon's just keeps being busy enough as it is.
Plumber, did you interact with original?
So I still have. Okay, so when everything crashed, I bought 2 Nightfall first edition boxes at $80 for both of them. Yeah. So I have 2 of those. I have a UFO box. I like the way UFO looked. So let me start this off. What I didn't like about MetaZoo in the beginning, because I was opening Cryptid Nation, because like I'm a collector, I like to open stuff. I didn't like how like a day later, even in sleeves, the cards would literally turn into a U. It was driving me insane. So I didn't like that. And I always said like they need to have like an alt art, like something cool with it, right? So as long as they change those things, like I still have, I bought a Kickstarter box because everything dropped so low when they when they said it was like done. So I still have one of every box, and I even have a like unlimited Cryptid, because those were like nothing. They went so low. So the investor side of me said I'm at least going to have one of every box, and the reason I have 2 Nightfall is because that was the bundle for 2 of them for $80. So I'm gonna buy it. I want to see the changes. If there's good changes, I'll give it a shot. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna buy cases of it. Like, I just didn't like how, like, when I was opening them, I didn't like the way the cards felt, and it drove me insane. And then
they used to print them in China. Now they're printing them in the United States.
That's huge. So if there are changes, I will give it a shot. And then because, like, now Rudy, he doesn't want a part of this, but maybe if he sees that there's a change and there's a positive change, then everyone can change. Like, as long as they made changes. That's the thing. No one wants to have exactly what happened in the beginning.
Did anyone reach out to Rudy, Dan?
Again, I have no say whatsoever towards that. So this was before I actually bought it. I put word out there that I was thinking about buying it, and I've been a patron of Rudy's for years. I messaged him. I'm like, hey, Rudy, what do you think about like forming some kind of a team? And he's just like, yeah, I really have no plans towards that whatsoever. And at the time, he mentioned like, hey, if somebody did buy it, and if like theoretically there was something there that it like maybe he'd get back involved with it. But I don't really know. I don't know what his arrangement was with former MetaZoo, and I have no involvement in the actual like running of current MetaZoo. I speculate that they gave him a very sweetheart deal. Like I used to buy these for 56. I have no clue what Rudy bought them for. I would speculate very substantially below 56. That's entirely speculation though. And just again, I would presume that like GQL, the company who we're licensing MetaZoo to, I would presume that Rudy would maybe desire more than they would offer as far as like discounts and things like that go. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was never anything, but it wouldn't overly surprise me if like he carries Pokemon without any major advantage. He carries like if MetaZoo proves itself and he were to come into it in a couple of years, it wouldn't like overly shock me either.
I definitely have a bearish take on it. I'm sorry.
Like I'm
here's
not
the thing
gonna,
though. Here's
like,
the thing, right? We're friends, and I always believe. I tell Plumber all the time, I'd rather talk shit to my friend's face than behind their back. So it's like,
yeah, like,
but my thing has nothing to do with the
done,
game,
too.
the cards, anything. I just see it as the market right now. If and when I feel like TCGs are going to go through another like falling off period, and there's already Lorcana and One Piece, obviously Pokemon, Magic, all competing for these dollars. I just don't know if there's enough dollars to go around in the event of a downturn for MetaZoo to really get enough of them.
Yep. Again, I'm a part minority passive like shareholder in the company that bought it from bankruptcy. Like I am buying 720 boxes. I just like I do with my YouTube channel. I tell people what I do. I'm not telling people to buy. I saw a couple of people in the comments saying like, because Dan's a part of it, I bought some. Because Charlie's a part of it, I bought some. Like, please make your decisions based solely on what you see, think, feel about it. Like don't do it on my behalf. Please do not buy things because I am. Do all your own due diligence. It is risky. The intrinsic value of this, the intrinsic value of your favorite Pokemon set, the intrinsic value of the new MetaZoo is 0. And that's what it could go to if all goes poorly.
Peak wanted to know about any, I guess, if you know anything about refunds for product original MetaZoo never shipped out to partners. Curious if you had any take on that.
I am really not the right guy to answer these questions, but I will do my best to answer that question. So Charlie Herlocker would be the guy to ask, and he's been on. I think Nick Strength and Pokemon might have asked him. So I will share what's been publicly shared and is the full extent of my knowledge. We paid $2.05 million for the company when we bought it for bankruptcy. And as far as I understand, there was only $1.3 to $1.5 million of outstanding customer balances owed. So I think the timing has already all passed. I think if you were a part of that, you were listed, you were fully doxxed, your name, your address, all that stuff. You should have requested through the bankruptcy court getting reimbursed. We paid more than enough. And I heard the number. I think only 30% of people claimed. Like I think 1.3 million was owed to the end consumer. And I think they only got claims for like $500,000 or so. So some amount of the people who are out there mad about, oh, I was owed $1,000. I was owed this. I was owed that. There was a legal recourse for you to get that money back. And we paid enough money to satisfy all the debts the former company had. And some amount of people and they didn't know how to do that. They didn't end up doing that. Like I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. This is how I understand it to the best that I.
Well, yeah, it's like when you get like mailed like a class action for like a stock you owned at some point, and most people just never file it, and then eventually the time period ends and no one gets their money or whatever. And most class actions end with a good portion of people just not claiming it.
Yeah, and again, like as far as I understand the math of it, it was a little over 1 million, maybe 1.5 million. We paid 2.005. Surely the attorneys are going to take some amount. What amount of that went to the? I don't know the intricacies of that. But as far as I understand, everyone who claimed there should have been more than enough money to pay for the money to be paid back. And yeah, good comment by Brian.
Man. Yeah, Brian, exactly, dude. All right, let's go. That was good. Let's switch gears. All right, the GameStop issue, the changing hobby in terms of the changing GameStop business model. I mean, we can really take us in so many different directions with obviously the PSA grading, with them not, doing pre-orders, with them starting to sell off or like get rid of their like smaller locations. Are they trying to redesign for more of like a card shop model? They're definitely carrying more card shop style products. Like, what's your guys' take on what's going on with GameStop? I mean, Nick, Pokey Plumber, you haven't talked in a minute. Do you want to talk about it first?
On GameStop? I mean, they canceled a bunch of my Journey Together stuff. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't have high expectations, especially what happened with Prismatic, and they were like, your payment's not going through. And I was like, all right, I'll try a different card. And it's like, your payment isn't going through, which is bullshit. So then they just canceled whatever I ordered, the rest of it. And it was the same card that everything else went through on. So I don't know. I knew something funky was happening when I started seeing stuff like that. And then I got a phone call not too long ago from GameStop, and they're like, just so you know, we have to cancel your pre-orders for your Journey Together booster boxes. We'll be able to give you one, and for compensation, we'll sell you a Blooming Waters box. So I'll get one Journey Together booster box and one Blooming Waters box instead of getting my boxes of Journey Together. They were like, we don't have enough. But I don't know. Like, this is what I want to see. I'm not going to say anything until, let's say, after they're done with the pre-order, they're going to put Journey Together boxes up for $210. Then I'll be a little annoyed, and then you know exactly what they're doing. But
do you think what GameStop is doing and they're expanding, you think it's good
no,
or bad
I mean,
for the hobby?
Would I be shocked if they started because people already hang out at their GameStops. So would I be shocked if they put tables and then it turns into a Play Store where they start doing pre-releases? I wouldn't be shocked if they do something like that. And that's the thing is, like, I can go on my PlayStation right now and I can buy any game I want. I don't have to go to GameStop to get I like the physical copy though. That's always been me. I always had ever since Sega Genesis, I had the physical copy. Like, I'm old school. That's just how I am. I want to have it in my hand. It's tangible.
Ever since he bought his first copy of Mortal Kombat.
Dude, Mortal Kombat was the best. Whoopsie. GameStop, I mean, it's crazy to see where GameStop was. And I always had stock in GameStop because it was GameStop. And like, I think they're only going to grow more. That's why I like their stock too, because I see all the changes they're making. They're grading, maybe even, hundreds of thousands of cards right now for people. But they need to start stocking themselves with more TCGs if they're going to head in that direction. Because they also have plushies. They also have action figures. They have T-shirts. I mean, it could be they have a lot of potential if they can really be an LGS. But that's the scary thing that LGS is then, because GameStop's getting all this product because their spend is so high. What happens to LGSs if GameStop really makes that the next? I mean, and that's what I don't like about GameStop either is, I mean, it is a business, but now they're selling Obsidian Flames boxes at these crazy prices. Like we rely on these GameStops for people that don't have distro. We rely on GameStops. We rely on Walmart, Target to be able to get MSRP. But if GameStop turns into one of those places, then everyone's going to follow suit. And then the product's going to be out of reach for a lot of people.
Yeah. You guys got any thoughts?
I did a quick Google search and I see people memeing like I just like the stock, like the Roaring Kitty guy.
Yeah, I just like the stock, baby.
As of yesterday, GameStop has a market cap of $9.81 billion and they hold 4.62 in cash. So
which is unheard of if anyone doesn't understand. Like that's
like
not
50% of their market cap is just sat there in $100 bills, right? Like it's insane. Will that be enough to get them to pivot going from this game store outdated thing? Like, hopefully they're going
to go Blockbuster. That's the thing.
They don't want to get Blockbuster. They want to be able to pivot into this more digital world. If they go the video gaming side, which can you really do that with a brick and mortar store? Maybe not, probably not. So they're pivoting into like, hey, another physical media that's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. Trading cards. It feels like a logical pivot to make. I think there's a lot of overlap between video gamers and then like card collectors, card gamers
Absolutely.
as well. So it'll be interesting. I don't own any of the stock besides whatever my mutual funds that I invest in hold. I don't own any GameStop directly, but it's definitely intriguing. It's intriguing for that reason. As far as like, is it good or bad for the hobby? I don't think it's necessarily either, but some of the pros are, hey, this much more cards, this much more like introduction to grading. People are very averse and very afraid of like putting their treasured collectibles into a box and shipping it halfway across the country, right? So if you can walk into a store where, hey, I know Bob behind the counter, I buy all my video games from him, and I can give 10 of my cards and a couple $100 to Bob, and he handles all the scary stuff, and it's fully insured. And you do hear the horror stories, you hear the GameStop stealing people's cards. I don't know how much that stuff's actually happening, or people just making up stories for the internet. But it's interesting. It could be a good introduction to the market, the graded cards for a lot of people. It could be a nice acquisition funnel for people to grow the TCG space. And then the downsides are like, yeah, maybe they're not going to honor Target, Walmart, sell everything for MSRP. But if they do like dynamic pricing relative to market, sure, it's a little painful right now. But again, 6 to 24 months, give it time. Market price is almost always sub MSRP for the first like 6 months to 24 months of the life cycle of a new set. Historically, 90+% of cards spend the vast majority of the first 2 years well under MSRP. Like, I can't wait until we stop saying MSRP.
Oh man, I never talked about MSRP so much in my entire life. In the past 3 months, that's all I hear.
It's only a thing when
I didn't
markets
even know how
above
to say
MSRP.
I would be like MRSP. Now I'm like MSRP. Yeah. You know?
It's getting drilled into your brain. Like, forget 160. 160 is MSRP. Sword and Shield, it was 140. Every Sword and Shield box, Evolving Skies included, was widely available for sub 120, if not sub 100.
MSRP was a ripoff.
These,
Yeah.
Yeah, MSRP. Like,
if you had been in the hobby at all, you would get laughed at for buying it off the shelves.
Yeah.
And that was every set in Sword and Shield for an entire era, including the best one that's currently a $1,300 booster box. So quit. Like, the MSRP conversation just needs to end. But yeah, I'll let Old School go on his GameStop thoughts.
I think it makes perfect sense for them. Like you both said, you can't sell games anymore because you can just buy them online, except for Nick over there. But GameStop has always been around in Pokemon. Like, I remember back in the E4 days around Christmas time, everyone would post, like, because GameStop had like really good Black Friday deals. So I remember back in the day they would do that. So they've always been somewhat involved with Pokemon. And now that they're starting to do the grading, now that they're starting to sell more product, have cards in the shop, I think it's a perfect pivot for them. And as far as like competition with LGSs, I think it's actually a really good thing, because I know I haven't been to many card shops around here, but I know where back in Massachusetts, where I used to live, there were a lot of card shops that were just like shitty. There was a disaster inside. There was no organization. The people working there were not helpful whatsoever. Whereas now that they have competition, it'll hopefully help them to improve and get better or go out of business. So I think now you'll see better LGSs that actually have stuff organized, are willing to help their customers and all of that stuff, versus them just being the only available option.
Well, I wish we had like Mason or someone in here too, because like someone actually has a card shop, because up until recently, sealed product hasn't even been how they make the majority of their money. It's all the higher margin stuff, like bringing in singles, selling the bulk. They do that, business model, or running events. Like, there's a million other ways. It's like people see the sealed product now because that's like what everything's in the news, it's scalps and all that. But like, when the market's normal and boxes that were $100 and you were getting them from distro at 90, like, that wasn't where the game stores were making all their money anyway. And so it's like, even if GameStop does kind of step on their toes a little bit, I think most LGSs that are run well can still survive and do just fine.
Well, real quick, to touch on what you said, Nick, is I go to my card shop every Wednesday, right? And I hang out. It's like my little ritual. That's what I do every Wednesday. And I go there and I don't charge them anything. I just help them. And this Wednesday, I helped him set out Wednesday comics for Marvel and DC. And it took me 10 minutes to do. He goes, how is this not done in 6 hours? Then I went downstairs, I cleaned out a whole area, and then we moved all these books. He's like, dude, you just did 3 different people's jobs in 4 hours, and this would have taken 3 days. And that's why he gives me product for such a good deal. But he's like, and I'm like, dude, I was like, that took me 3 hours. He goes, you don't understand. And like, he's having a lot of issues. Like, people are like, I want to leave early today. Can you call me cover? Like, the work ethic is so bad in these places, and I see it firsthand, and it's unfortunate. But it's like, dude, how I don't understand it. But yes, maybe like they'll have to hire better, the competition. But that's why I can see LGS is getting blown out because he's the owner, but he can't find people that care as much as him.
That is very true too. Yeah.
If you have comics, if you have, TCG products, board games. You need different people to do this stuff, and he can't do it all. So LGSs can.
That's what I always say when I get asked about, like, are you ever going to open an LGS? Like, I couldn't open an LGS. I don't know enough. I don't know Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece. Like,
comics.
I mean, I would have to hire somebody who was experts in every card game, and I would just basically have to trust them that they knew what they were doing. I'm not going to do that. Like, because if you can't oversee someone and like be able to say if they're doing it right or wrong, how do you operate like that? It's a little scary. All right, guys, we got to really get people amped up here. Is Scarlet Violet the best era?
Oof, that's a tough
Pokey
one.
Plumber, I can see him getting heated. Look at him. He looks so uncomfortable.
I
mean, the obvious answer is yes, but I want to hear Nick's response.
I wouldn't say 100%. I mean, I said for specialty sets, 1,000%. For specialty sets, I will absolutely give that to them. But for me, this is just me. Like, the reason I'm not saying XY era is better, but like I liked XY era because there was a lot of Kanto Pokemon headlining these sets.
For sure.
And then I like Sword and Shield a lot because I just feel like Sword and Shield was deeper. And it's not fair to Scarlet and Violet because we're only getting 10 sets for Scarlet and Violet, 10 main sets. With Sword and Shield, you have 12 sets. And the end of the Sword and Shield was super strong. I think it was stronger than Sun and Moon era. Like those alt arts and the trainer gallery. For me, the specialty sets are great for Scarlet and Violet. They made specialty sets change now, but keep in mind we still have Crown Zenith and Sword and Shield, Celebrations and Sword and Shield. I'm still leaning towards Sword and Shield, and that's just me.
Dan, what do you think?
There's a meme that I always reference is like next set is always the best set of all time. I think by design, like Pokemon wants it to be that way. They always want the hype to be around the latest, the greatest, the newest, the shiniest. So Scarlet Violet is the newest generation. Obviously, it's the best generation of all time. It will be the best generation of all time until the new one comes out. But what always happens, not always, but what often happens, I don't know what the next block is going to be called, but it's gonna suck out of the gate. Remember how bad Scarlet Violet sucked out of the gate? Oh my God, gray borders. Like I miss my yellow borders.
Dude, there were people who would literally say, I'm done investing in Pokemon starting with the silver borders.
Yep. Yeah. And then Scarlet Violet sucked and it was available for $90 and Paldea sucked and Obsidian sucked and like all these sets sucked and you could buy any of them, all you wanted. You could buy all of them you wanted for $90 shipped to your door. My distributor allocated cost is like 90 to 95. I said you could get any of these on eBay for cheaper than my cost up through like SV5, right? SV6 is where it happened. Twilight Masquerade is the first one that started picking up. And now like a year later, we're looking back with, I don't know what it is, but like that always happens. For some reason, people are falling over themselves to pay $5-6 a pack for these things that you could buy in mass for under $3 a pack. And it's just, we do the same thing every time.
Well, me and Pokey and he talked about that back then too. It's just like, remember when everyone would like say, you don't need a distributor. Like we buy it from P Football Pete. We buy it from Safari Zone. We buy it from Hills Wholesale Gaming. It's the same cost and you don't have to buy any unwanted product. No one needs a distributor. It's stupid to buy from them. And now they're all figuring out why you guys bought from their distributor the whole time.
Exactly.
If you did the math on it though, like historically speaking, you're probably not far behind because as you were just saying, SV9, SV10, people pre-ordered those at $100 through Safari Zone. If you like clockwork every time those things came out, and maybe you had to fight more for the last couple because they sold out within hours instead of weeks or whatever. But if you compare historically just pre-ordering every set through Safari Zone versus actually getting it wholesale, you're not far behind. And I think some of them, they might be upcharging on the next set, maybe 120 or something instead. Oh, yeah. I think they're trying to capture more of it. But I believe I pre-ordered SV9 for $100 a box.
Well, guys, this is obviously my audience, so it's not really telling them much. But we got 53% on SV, 33% on Sword and Shield. We got 5% Sun and Moon and 8% XY. Sorry, Nick. XY didn't make it.
I got back into XY era.
XY sets are so good.
I had such a soft spot for XY, man. I've been saying it forever. I love XY. The full art.
Me too. That's what got.
I think all of. I mean, wait, Nick. When did you got in 18? Didn't you?
Me?
Plumber, yeah.
But I got the
old school.
XY.
Did you ever get out?
I was not into modern, but I got back in 2009. And
Okay.
I was just like base jungle fossil.
So maybe it's me and Dan because we both got in XY. So maybe we have some sort of nostalgia there for us. Because I love
Phantom
XY
Forces
too.
was
I'm
like-
with you.
That was the first set release when I got back in. I remember buying it from Potomac Distribution, and I thought that was a distributor. It's like, it has distribution in the name. It's got to be a distributor, right? I paid $600 shipped to my door for a case of Phantom Forces.
Dude, when freaking like I guess it was like 2020, it was like after I started my YouTube channel, I used to get torched for trying to like push XY, like because Sword and Shield was so hyped and all the new stuff, and I got torched for it. It's just funny how good it's done now. It's just like, when did everyone start liking it again? I guess like a couple years ago, a year ago, I don't know.
When the megas started getting talked about.
Exactly.
Demand is very fickle.
It is. Yeah, it's
And
funny to
usually
see.
when price goes up, like price goes up, demand goes up. People are so irrational. Price goes down. Oh, sell it all before it goes to zero. Sell low, buy high. That's what people do.
It's kind of sad. It's just like, here, anyone who's gotten the hobby in the last 3 to 4 months, I actually feel bad for those people. Anyone who's been in the hobby for like 6 months to a year, you can't feel bad for them because there was product everywhere. I mean, 151, like we talked about, falling off Costco shelves at $90 a UPC. People would come in me and Eli Pokemon Arts live stream, and they would ask us like, where do you think the best play is? I'm like, 151 at Costco for $90 a UPC. Buy as many as you can. There's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to wait for an ETB reprint. I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to wait. And that's where the whole I'm going to wait meme came from. It's just like, you guys are waiting when the play is in front of your eyes. And now I get it. All the plays are gone. Everything's expensive. But it's like, when everything's cheap, nobody wants it. And that's the play. When it's cheap, that's the play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Where do you think this ends? Like, does anyone have an idea of how we end up getting back to a less expensive singles market, slab market, and sealed market?
I have no idea.
Because now PSA with their and tag with their turnaround times getting longer. Now we're gonna have a supply, shortage in slabs. Now you're already seeing a lot of these slabs have like 5, 10 on the market on some of these cards. It's scary. Like, talk about buyouts. You want to talk about TCG player buyouts? Just go buy 5 slabs. Now they're technically bought out. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's going to
takes you like a few $100 to buy out a slab market.
I don't know when or why. Like it's got to turn around at some point, but I just don't know when or why it will.
But when? Look this reprint that we just got.
Yeah, I don't know.
Reprint.
It has to at some point. There's no way. Like, some people truly think that like every set for forever will just be above MSRP. Like, there's no way that happens.
No way.
But then they say, well, Dan, like when? It can't happen with Destined. It can't happen with the 30th. It can't happen. It will happen at some point. I think it's going to happen by fall. I don't know why. I don't know how, but I think it's going to happen by fall. I could be entirely wrong. Do not make big financial decisions based on that.
I do feel that. There's going to be a turning point. At the end of the day, I know Pokemon's smart and they will find the happy medium, but they do not want boxes over $200 out the gate. There's no way.
It's definitely not healthy, but it's not healthy when they're 90 either.
But people are getting
no margins there to be made.
Like I said, they will find that happy medium.
Yep.
Like
in high school, you're just in the camp that it's not coming down.
Not this year. No way. The end of Scarlet and Violet? No shot. No. And then next year, getting into all these mega sets, the 30th
the end of Scarlet
anniversary.
and Violet is in May. That's the end of Scarlet and Violet, May.
Yeah.
Why don't you go, Nick?
So
why don't you go deeper in your pack inventory
best
then?
half of every era right now.
Yeah, but what about August and September?
What was that?
August and September.
The sets are just going to keep getting better and better and better. I just can't see.
Brian said this, and I agree with it. What's going to happen is people are going to ask for freaking 10,000 boxes, and Distro is going to say, "Here's 10,000 boxes." Then everyone's going to be like, "Holy shit! I got to figure out how to pay for 10,000 boxes." I think the greed. It can't. People are all right. Listen, at the end of the day, on my end, people are getting buyer's fatigue. It sucks. It ends up when you're overspending nonstop all the time, it gets tiring, dude. And I'm a plumber, and I'm saying it's getting tiring spending this kind of money. People are maxing out their cards. Like, I see it firsthand. People are like, "Hey, I have a little life situation. What should I sell?" Like, I've had that email I'm not even kidding. In the past week, about 8 different times, like between messages, hey, what should I sell? What should I keep? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, make your own, because then you'll be like, I sold this and then this went to this price and that dropped. Like, I don't want to be I don't want to be a part of that. But people are over leveraging themselves. You'll see. This video will be posted tonight, but I see it all the time. People are spending too much money. You can't keep up with this. There's no way. It's not infinite money out there.
I mean, it's not everybody, but some people are getting irrational. Some people are getting really like, this stuff can't go down. It only goes up. And Alex, you're like the perma bull channel, right? And you're pumping the brakes on some of it. Cause some of what I hear, like I literally had somebody in my live stream earlier this week and last week saying that it can't go. No one would ever sell for a loss. No one would like, what are you talking about? If businesses need to keep the lights on, if businesses need to make payroll, people will do, and all, like, that will always be a thing. People will sell for a loss if they need to. Absolutely.
I mean, two bearish indicators right now are me and you both saying that, like, we're keeping less than we normally, like, dude, I was on with Rudy. Like, I believe the same exact thing he was saying. I was buying more Scarlet Violet era product than I ever had. I was putting more away. I was stacking more Scarlet Violet era cases of base and Paldea and Obsidian and Paradox and so on. And it not until it got to Twilight and then, we got Surge. Now I've really started to ramp down what I'm actually holding because, again, it's like there's too much fear out there. There's fear of reprints. There's fear of the market slowing down, fear of people like not stop spending. There's just fear of the economy right now with the stock market and crypto markets kind of taking a dive. And it's just like, there's just too much like uncertainty. And it's not that any of it's going to happen. Nick might be right, old school, and it may go into next year. Like, I'm not saying it won't. It's just like, I always go back to like responsibility. It's irresponsible to take unnecessary risk in these times if you don't have to. And that's where I'm at. I'm just like, I'm still going to invest in all of it. I still have cases of every single set that I'm going to hold, but I'm no longer going to get 10 or 15 cases. I'm going to scale back to maybe 4 or 6 cases for now.
And here's a good thing that some people won't like this. Some people will really, this will hurt their feelings. I've been around for 11 years. I was here for the 25th. I was here for the 20th. People are like the 30th, it can't go down. The 30th. I was there. Nick, old school was there. What happened with generations? What happened with celebrations? Nick, you were around. Mythical Mew. Everyone wanted it. Boom, boom, boom. Mythical Mew. Mythical Celebi. What about Mythical Celebi? By the time it got to Volcanion, by the time it got to Mythical, I don't even know all the Mythicals' names. Darkrai, Volcanion. Like, the 20th anniversary, a month, 2 months, boom, boom. Yes. Yes. But people like, you could buy all the pin collections you wanted. A promo, 2 packs, a pin. Wholesale was 8, I believe. Retail was like 15. You could buy those things by the truckload for like $7 in Rusty.
We're talking generations, gaming, right?
Yeah.
I might have misspoke, but yes, generations in 2016. And then similarly, like, I don't remember exactly. My memory's not amazing. But Celebrations did have the pandemic going on. It had some supply constraints, but just because it's an anniversary does not mean everything just has to be double and triple. Like, if you've only been in this market for weeks or months or even a year or two, you haven't known what it historically usually is. Like, if you got in later than 2020, you've not been around to see like what the true historically, like the vast majority of the history of the market took place pre-2019, and almost every set has always been available like under $100. And there's been times where even sets that are,
you could go to
like,
a
people
store
would say they're
and there'd be 3 errors on the show. When I got into this, there was XY, there was tins that had black and white in it. I got to open legendary treasures because there was tins that had XY. Like, you literally go to a store, and this is like when Unbroken Bonds came out. I'll never forget it. And I wish I knew more because I would have bought it all. But like, you had collection boxes for on sale on clearance for like $12.99, like the Charizard GX box. Like, I remember buying that on clearance. But you had every error on there. Like, I remember,
and that's what it looks like when a hobby is generally flat. Like, I don't know the exact print numbers off the top of my head, but from 2010 to 2015, the market was probably like slightly up. The hobby was probably slightly growing. Between 2016 and today, the market has grown crazy. And I love Pokemon. I'm very bullish long-term, 50 years, 100 years. Pokemon's going to outlive me. Hopefully I live 50 and hopefully Pokemon lives hundreds. But at some point, it's not unreasonable to me that Pokemon will contract to some extent. What will cause it? Why will it happen? I don't know. Hopefully we have 5 more years of growth until a decades long contraction. But when contractions happen, they do, like, especially if you're printing unprecedented amounts of stuff, it can get kind of ugly. And some people are just, it's one thing if you say, like, I agree. I don't think that's going to happen starting tomorrow, starting next month, starting next year even. I don't think it's going to happen. But some people say it can't happen. When people say it's guaranteed, it can't happen, it's impossible, or like, that's where it gets scary, because it's like you need to have it. If you're an investor, go back to like somewhere I have the intelligent investor. You always need to be aware of what your downside is.
I bought that because of you.
It's such a good book. You always have to be aware of like what the downsides are, what the risks are, and you always need to build yourself in a way where like you can't lose it all. And some people are truly building themselves in a way where if and when this thing does go down, like they're going to be not paying their 30% debt on their credit card, not like being able to make rent. And that's where it just gets scary.
But you know what? I said this to Alex too. I've said this for a while. Like, remember Pokemon Go? Everything went crazy. And I said this to Alex. I was like, dude, what if like Pokemon Pocket comes out and it does the same thing as Pokemon Go? And it literally did. So now give it time. We'll have a cooldown. Then Pokemon will come out with like virtual reality where you're throwing a Pokeball and catching a Pokemon. Like, and then you'll have another boom. But right now we're at the peak, and then it has to be inevitable. There's no way that we're just going to keep going up and up and up. It could last longer than we think. The bull run could really last longer. But no, I'm not here hating, saying I want everything to drop, but it's just like you have to come to reality. Nothing only goes up, and the higher it goes up, the harder it crashes. Believe me, it correlates with so many other things.
This is actually a great comment. As us millennials build wealth in our generation, we'll put that money into assets and things it understands. This is actually one of my like big factors that I've always like used in debates, and I truly still believe it is. I think no matter what, booms or busts, when it's to the top, when it's not. Our generation, the generation after us, is going to invest more into things like this than our parents' generation ever dreamed of. And it's just because, you know, especially me, like I've grown up. I mean, the 2008 stock market crash. I mean, I've seen market crashes. We've all seen crypto ups and downs. Like, you know, it's just like people are going to put things where they've seen stability, where they've seen success, and things they understand, things they enjoy. And I think it's just a lot more accepted now to have money, like real net worth into collectibles than it was, you know, 30 years ago.
Plus, I also think everyone in here, maybe except Dan, knows way more about Pokemon than they do stocks. I put money away like 401k and stuff. I don't understand that. I don't understand how it works nearly as much as I know everything there is to know about Pokemon. So for me, it's a lot more comfortable putting money into Pokemon, where I kind of know this set is definitely going to do well long term. Whereas I don't know. For me, it makes more sense. It's a lot
Stocks
more
are
fun
easy.
too.
There's intrinsic value. There's fundamentals. You can calculate cash flows, and stocks are easy.
No, stocks are not easy. Stocks are not easy.
What's fun though is when you actually buy, like a stock is a fractional ownership in a company. What's fun is when you buy fractional ownership in, like, it's not a publicly traded stock, but I'm kind of doing best of both worlds, right? I own fractional ownership in a trading card game now, so I'm getting it from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I have more of my net worth actually in Pokemon now than stocks or my house or anything. So, I mean, I'm definitely walking the walk. Probably not as much as Dan is, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I would rather have money in something I believe and like lose in that and know that like I was doing what I believed in, than to put something in something I didn't believe in and lose money there and being like, well, I didn't even know why I had money there to begin with. Everyone else was just telling me to. And also, yeah, you guys have talked about this before. I know Dan has, and everyone else probably has too. But it's like, you know, you're always told to invest in things you understand. And also with Pokemon, there's so many routes to where you can actually like get ahead of the game, especially like with your entry points. You can't get better entry points in a stock. Everyone's paying the same price unless you have like a stock option for the company or you have some kind of insider info. And so like there's things you can do to like be more skilled in investing in this hobby to where you're actually giving yourself a leg up even from the start. And then even with your sales ability, your platforms you have to sell and the ways you have to move product, you can actually get another leg up when you go to exit the product. So it's like there's other factors when it comes to the investing and buying and selling in this hobby than just like comparing it 1-to-1 to a 401k. because even though there's not the
Yep.
tax like advantages like long term, there are other advantages. So it just depends on what how you have things set up.
Yeah, I can in the morning I can buy 1,000 booster packs of a product at 80 to 90%, and then in the afternoon I can sell those same packs for a slight premium above market, right? Like I can buy at 80 and sell at 110% of market. If I'm buying Bitcoin, if I'm buying S&P 500, Coca-Cola, whatever, I buy it 100.01% and then I sell it 99.99%, right? Like the spread is way thinner, the fees are way lower. A lot of times cards get picked on, and I say this as someone who picks on it, like, hey, frictional fees are high. You pay 12% eBay fees, you pay yada yada. But you also can buy at 80% and you can sell at 110%. So it's different from that perspective.
Yeah.
Going back to one thing I had was like market coming down. Will we ever see a time like 2019? Will we ever see like a time pre-COVID with live streaming? I think the whole live streaming aspect is for sure here to stay. I don't think it'll ever go away, and I think it's added so much value to the market that I don't know if maybe not ever, but will we ever see as low of a period as 2019, 2018 when live streaming wasn't a thing? I don't know if we ever will.
I mean, I've said it too. Like let's say on a live stream, the packs are literally, just for hypothetical, are literally the same price as they are in a game store. There is still a certain amount of people, even me included, I didn't even interest in my live streams, that would rather show up as a community, all sit there, open packs together, root each other on. Like, it's like the experience of having your name, announced on camera and everyone pulling something on camera and everyone rooting for you and telling you good job. It's like, it's more of a community aspect at this point, more than just a like consumer experience. If I bought packs and I got cards, and I think that is this thing people are missing, that like don't believe in it or don't like the whole pack ripping thing. It's like they're missing the whole community, like ripping packs together with a bunch of people aspect, and they're just seeing like, well, why don't you want to open it yourself? Like people open packs themselves too, but it's another layer to that. Like, hey, I've had packs opened on live streams before. It's like I'm not doing anything I haven't done myself, and so I know if I liked it, I'm like, well, other people are probably gonna like this too.
I remember during the pandemic, it was pandemic lockdown, all that stuff. I bought into a couple of my buddies' breaks. They were breaking on Whatnot, some of the early streams, and I'm not really a consumer of it much anymore. I'm handling so much of this stuff, and you can go out into the world and do things now. But it's an interesting dynamic. I as one small operation, investing by the pallet with my dad, I did the math. We have like on that first pallet, we only have like 15,000 packs between the booster cases, between the ETB cases, between whatever, 10 or 15,000 packs. We ripped 4,500 packs last week. 2 streamers, one full-time, one part-time, 4,500. So I told my dad, it's like, hey, Dad, we've been building Pallet 2 of Pokemon all year. $52,000 was our cost basis into Pallet 2. It's worth a lot more than that right now. But I'm like, Dad, you know how long this would last if we broke this down and started shipping it to our guys? And it's not the same exact blend of sets, blah, blah, blah. But this is 2 weeks. This is 2 or 3 weeks worth of my live stream operation. So my plan with these pallets, it's
me and Pokey Plumber had that conversation.
Insane. Yep.
It's scary. Dude, when you go back and look at positions that we used to think were large positions, like here, if you have like 20 ETB cases of Crown Zenith, you're like, I'm sitting on a massive position in Crown Zenith. And then you're like, hold on, that's like 90 packs or 100 packs in ETB. It's like, what is that, like 2,000 packs?
Yeah, 1,800 packs. And this year in Crown Zenith, we have ripped 5,185 packs.
So you wiped out a 20 case position over 3 times.
And we're one small operation. I'm on Fanatics Live.
And people always get on me when I say I'm small. Like, dude,
to...
Dan, me and Dan are both, we're on the smaller side of this game.
Yep. It's crazy.
It makes you look at your investment different. You're like, it almost makes you think like, maybe I could go bigger because this is how fast this is wiped out. Like, well, 10 cases of booster boxes, that's only what, 216 packs times 10, 2,160 packs. 10 cases of booster boxes is 2,000 packs. Mm-hmm. That is a drop in the bucket. That's a week of streams.
Yep. Yeah. And that's one thing, like I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. I'm doing it. I'm here. Like I'm I'm investing more than I've ever invested, but I'm also ripping more than I ever ripped. So years ago, I used to set back like 2 cases of every product. These days, I try setting back like 20, 30 cases. A lot of times I have a hard time doing it because the price goes up so quickly. But if you look proportionally, so this is the level I was investing. This is the level I was ripping product 10 years ago. The level at which I'm ripping product has gone up exponentially. The level at which I'm investing has gone up 5 or 10 times, but I'm ripping product at 100 times the rate or something. Because I used to just open a few boxes of every set, and it's going to all different end consumers now. I guess as far as consuming just for me, I'm ripping less than I used to. But as far as how much is being consumed by my consumer base is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Definitely fundamentally changed the hobby.
Oh, for sure.
What's your take, Plumber? I know you're on the kind of like outside of this combo, but what's your take from the other side?
Good for me. Better for me. Not at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm hearing Dan. I'm like, shit, man. Maybe I should have bought more cases than I already had. That's really what's going through my head right now, and I'm over here like I have a pretty like I don't know too many people that have what I have. Like, I mean, as I
Well, I know people with airplane hangers full, but I don't want to say their names. I don't want to show any pictures, but they're out there.
I have 12,000 packs of Crown Zenith, and at the rate with which we've been ripping them, they're going to be gone by July.
That's insane.
That's wild. That's
what like you want to know what was going through my head while we were talking about this is like, what if Pokemon really does printed demand and there is that much product where Dan can rip unlimited amount of packs? You know, you guys are ripping whatever you want. And then I'm like, is it investable then? You know, if they really have so much out there that you can buy packs whenever you want at $2.50 a pack. You can buy whatever you want. If there's that much product, then do we look at Pokemon and say, wow, maybe we shouldn't buy all those cases? That's what was going through my head. Like if they really do somehow printed demand, or is demand going to fall off? I question everything I say. Like anything I talk about, I always question it and I answer it. I sound insane, but that's literally what I do. And then I have my own take on my own question. But like, what do you guys think about that? If Pokemon prints that much where, you know, you're able to buy 100 cases, no problem. You're able to buy 100 cases. I can go and buy 100 cases, no problem. Over time, is it going to do the same thing? It's just going to dry up and it doesn't matter how much Pokemon prints? And I
think we have been in that situation with the reprint of Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, and then even recently Crown Zenith. Which that's kind of an outlier because
they tried to murder Crown Zenith though. I've never seen them print that much. You have Pikachu boxes, you have the pin boxes, you name it, they have it.
Yep. Yeah, they printed so much of it, and it's still just climbing up in price. But granted that's a really, really good set, and that'll forever. People will always want to rip that. But even like Battle Styles, it's not. You have the Tyranitar and Empoleon, which is really good, but it's not that great of a set. And even that set is climbing decently in price, because of how much has been opened.
They were $70 a box everywhere. Like that set. I remember like my LGS, and they're more expensive, like a different LGS, and they're more expensive than everyone. And they had it for $70 a box. That's how you know it's really bad.
Yeah.
Hey guys, leave anyone in the chat if you guys want us to answer any specific questions. Leave them in the chat and make sure to put question before it so I can easily sort them out. But before we do that, I wanted to ask everybody like a question because I'm always interested in people's goals. So like we can go kind of around the table. I'll start with old school and go to Dan and Plumber. But like, what's your guys' goal like with your either your content, your business? Like what's the biggest thing you're trying to like accomplish this year, like going forward?
For me, it's just continuing to grow the live streaming. Try and get into a more consistent routine, I guess. Where everything's not just like flying by the seat of my pants.
Yes.
Because right now it's just like day by day. And I'm just focusing one day at a time. So I want to get like systems in place where I have streams set up for an entire week, where I'm able to keep up with like all of my like profit and loss statements for business stuff, where I can keep better track of inventory, Lot of getting more organized is my biggest goal, and then at the same time growing my live streaming on eBay.
I hear everything you just said, man. Dan,
Me
what about
personally,
you, man?
There's certain like numbers behind it. I'm very transparent on my channel. I did 3 million in gross sales. That's gross. That's not net. I did not profit $3 million last year. But I want to get to like 4 million. And I truly think I'm approaching that's consignment sales. That's live stream sales. That's everything. eBay Fanatics.
Hold
Everywhere.
on. I don't want to cut you off, but Retro just put a goal of like 5 million. So are you going to let Retro beat you?
That's the worst thing you can do. I think Plumbers mentioned this before. Like everyone, don't compare yourselves to others in a negative way. Like if you want to say like, oh man, that guy's crushing, I want to like try to follow in his footsteps. Absolutely do things in a positive way comparison. I made a video last year, 2 years ago, 10 years of selling on eBay, how I scaled from selling 30 grand to 50 grand to 100 grand but no, retro is absolutely crushing it. I like any friend, any business partner, anyone I know in the hobby, I like take pride in like them on their behalf. Like I want to see people crush it. I
was just messing, dude.
No, I know. Like
I know.
My ultimate end game, I'm actually going to make a video in the coming weeks on my end game. What is my end game? Financial independence. Financial independence is and has been my end game for the last 15 years of my life, since I've been in the professional world, since I've been in the 9 to 5, like having a job world out of college, right? I've sought financial independence. I'm getting really close. I've always been a saver. I saved a lot while I was an engineer, saving a lot now being a Pokemon business. And I'm trying to just put systems in place, build a little bit of a moat in certain areas. You talked about the whole entertainment thing. I think I got a couple good live streamers doing good business right now, building up a good entertaining stream. And I'm paying some of my friends in the hobby very well to work, like not for me, but alongside me. They have their own businesses. I'm contracting out their businesses, growing together. I really like everything that's going on right now. So I want to do 4 to 5 million this year, somewhere in there. And net is a different conversation, but yeah, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing it bigger, get more efficient, get it more well-defined. And like Nick said.
All right.
So basically, Troll and Toad Evo and not being able to get a deal with the eBay and all that was actually the best thing that happened to you.
For now, I mean, who knows? Troll and Toad Evo might come back around.
I mean, you seem happier than ever.
Troll and Toad Evo, man, honestly, if that continued the way that it was, but it couldn't because it was too good to be true, I would be, in this market, I would be crushing as hard or harder than I am right now. I was on pace to do crazy things with that. But anyways,
yeah,
let Plumber go.
All right. Step 1, get distro. Finally get distro after all this time. None of my little sites that I pay for, like I just want distro. Step 1, distro, build. I want to start another business. So I want to create a second business, and I want it to be Pokemon. I want to have distro. I want to be able to sell stuff, not necessarily ripping, chipping. And I have to.
What do you call what you're already doing?
All right, but listen. I want to be able to like sell boxes. I do. I want to sell product. I want to be able to buy sealed, sell more sealed. Not just I buy everything and I put it away and I rip what I enjoy. I want to be able to get distro, and I should have done. I've known so many connections for all these years. And I never did it because I was always able to get the product from this person. This is like the first time I think ever. Even last month I was able to get whatever I wanted. But I think my numbers have gotten so crazy when I buy every set now that it's not as easy as it used to be. Like it just kept growing and growing. It's not easy to buy 30 cases from someone anymore. So I want to be able to do that. I know that takes time to build. I want to grow my YouTube channel. Like I want it to be Pokemon Plumber LLC. I want to start a whole nother business. I want to still keep my plumbing business, but I just want to grow because I talk to so many of you guys. I talk to so many other people that have made this their business, but I want to do things my way. And I ran a successful business, and I'm pretty sure I can do it again with this. But I have way more fun with Pokemon than I do plumbing. I do love plumbing. I know it sounds crazy, but I think I'm at the point, like right now, I've been enjoying staying home, watching my son grow. And I learned Dan did that for his kids. So I want to be able to do that with my son. And every step of the way with my son, even not even sleeping at night. It's pretty cool though, because I get to enjoy the moment more so than I used to. But I see so many avenues to grow right now. I'm having so much fun on YouTube. That's like a whole different job alone. I need to articulate. I'm learning so much with editing, lighting, mics. This is so much fun right now, and I don't want the fun to stop. That's kind of my goals right now. Just grow more in Pokemon.
Your green screen work is phenomenal too.
It's very good. You can interact with it, which is a wild
Interactive green screen.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. I literally
You really thought it was a green screen.
I did when I texted you. I said, "Where'd you get the green screen?"
The first couple videos looked like, I don't know what it was, but the way the angles, the lighting, it just looked like a green screen.
And he thought we were joking. He's
Yeah,
like, why are you trolling me? I'm like, dude, is that not a green screen?
It really did look like it.
And I didn't think it was. Here's the thing. I didn't think it was somebody else. I thought you took a picture of your product and made that into the green screen. I didn't think you were like stealing someone else's like thing. I knew it was yours.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's kind of the same thing as like, as Dan was saying. It's just like to grow, like, or the old school is saying, like, just to continue to like get more organized, continue to grow. My big thing is. So the friend of mine that I hired to work for me is doing shipping and stuff right now. I want to eventually get him like more integral and give him like more responsibilities and be able to pay him like a good enough salary where he doesn't have to like get another job, you know, because right now he's, you know, kind of in transition with some things and, you know, like he's used to making a lot more money and stuff. And so like, I want to eventually get to the point where I can like pay him enough to where he doesn't have to go get a job again and he can just like work with me and we can, you know, do this thing together. So that's kind of like what's driving me more right now than even myself is just him and kind of looking out for him eventually. And yeah, just like getting things more like Nick old school said, it's like I've been flying by the seat of my pants. Basically, I wake up every day. I try to put out a piece of content. I try to keep, you know, all the sourcing going. I'm trying to, you know, keep 5 streams a week, trying to, you know, get just like all the pack inventory to the point where I'm not like running out every stream and having to like pay people express shipping just to get them to me by the next day to try to have them for the next stream. It's just a mess right now. And then, you know, we've been adding in these PSA slabs to the streams too. So it's like a whole new inventory I have to keep now is keep enough slabs to like run through. And so it's just like, I feel like it's just a mess right now. And I'd like to get to the point where it just feels more like, you know, you have it under control. You're keeping inventory levels normal every week, sort of like a normal grind and not like a hectic, like, you know, just every hour of the day you're possibly up, you're trying to do something to get things back to normal. So yeah, I'm hoping to get to that point in the next couple months. And then, yeah, I can focus on getting my buddy to a more integral part and, you know, just keep enjoying the hobby, man. You guys know how it is.
I think one thing, if I can cut in with my own question, topic,
Absolutely.
whatever. I've been having private conversations with people in the space, like people that full-timers, part-timers, whatever. Like, hey, Dan, how are you doing mentally, like burnout wise? Right now we're booming. I know a lot of people putting in a lot more time than they maybe would have 6 months, a year ago. And where's your like just general thoughts around we're booming right now? How long is this wave going to last? Are you working more than you would like to in some ways because you feel like you're trying to get the last juice out of it before it leaves? Where's like starting with Alex, like where's your mind around all that? Say this does last 5 or 10 years. Can you sustain or will you burn out?
So there's very few things about this business I don't like. I'm very clear about what I don't like. I don't like shipping and handling. That's why I have someone doing it now. I also do not like sourcing. And so me and Dan talked about it beforehand, maybe eventually get him to like be a middleman and I'll pay him extra. Like I'll tell him what I'm willing to pay for packs, whatever he can get them for and whatever margin he makes, that's on him. But like, but like without sourcing and shipping, there's not a lot to burn out. I enjoy making content. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy printing packs. Like I don't really not enjoy anything besides those 2 things. Like those 2 things in general, if I could ever get those 2 things off my plate, I could basically do this forever at the same schedule. But when you add like the sourcing into everything else, it becomes, a lot more hours than I want to work. But yeah, like if it went 5 or 10 years, I don't know. I don't, that might be a lot, but like you said, I think it's almost like the investing, you know, time side. It's like setting yourself up because you know there's going to be like ups and downs. I think we all know there's going to be times where it's not as crazy as now. And so I know at some point in the distant future, there's going to be a time where, you know, the streams may not last as long. There's not going to be as crazy amount of like demand for the content. Maybe those slow down. So it's like, yeah, like you said, I'm trying to do all I can while I can the busy season. And then when, things kind of slow down, you'll have a little more time, to spend with your loved ones and do other things you like to do. And if things pick up, you go back to it. But see, I'm used to that because like I used to be in lawn care. So me and my wife were used to, in the spring season, we're not going to see each other. I'm going to be gone at, 6 a.m. I'm not going to be back till 8 p.m. because I'm out giving bids after I'm done laboring. And so like that was normal. And then, the fall and the winter would come, you'd have a ton more time. So like I'm used to going through times like that. And so, yeah, right now I'm working every hour of the day, way more than I want to. But I'd rather put in more effort now and instead of put in less and like have a more normalized schedule, but then regret it when things are slower and be like, man, I really should have went harder when times were good. Now things are slow. I'm wishing I had one of those, that good times come back. So yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at now is I'm not really about the whole like work-life balance, like everyday thing. I think it's more of like a balance over like your life. Like there's going to be seasons of your life where you're working more. There's going to be seasons of your life where you're working less. And we're just in one of those seasons where you're working more. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yeah. We're very similar together. I completely missed the 2020 boom and I've regretted that since that happened. So I do not want to miss this boom. And, I'm definitely working a lot more than in some extents I'm working less than I did a year ago because now I have Walrus helping me ship. But the streams are going longer. We're selling more in the streams. So I think I'm definitely working about the same, probably harder. Could it continue forever? No, not. I don't think I could keep going like this forever. In the short term, it's fine, but in the long term, absolutely not.
It's funny how outsiders looking in don't get that, isn't it?
What was that?
I said it's funny how outsiders looking in don't get that. They're like, "What do you mean you're always working?" It's like, well, I'm on stream ripping packs for like 30 hours a week. I'm making content. That's another 10 or 15. Everything else in between that, well, just do the math, all right?
Yeah.
Surely you're just sleeping. If you're not live on a channel, you must be sleeping, doing
Right.
nothing, playing video games.
Yeah, no. It works well for me right now because I don't have any type of family. But if I had a family, I would not be able to do this because like you said, Alex, it takes up so much time.
Yeah. But it's fun at the same time. Like it's fun, there's part of you. Like,
yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah. Or Plumber, if you want to go first, I guess, and then I'll go last since it was my question.
I mean, I don't. The only place that I'm having burnout. See, you have to understand this. It's different from me. When you're buying at a little bit higher prices, you're selling it, and at least you're making money off of it.
You're ripping yourself.
I'm keeping it. So the only burnout I have is like the buyer's fatigue. That's it. Everything else, I love Pokemon. I'm having more fun with Pokemon than I ever have. More connections than I ever have. So I am having that aspect. It's just when you love something, I thought if I overdid it, I would start experiencing it, but luckily I haven't. And I've been here for a while now, and I just love it. I have so much fun with it. It's just the buying is the only thing that bothers me a little bit. That's it.
Yeah, which is obvious. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I can't believe you ripped as much prismatic as you did, man. I don't know how you.
I should have stopped after I pulled the Sylveon, but I ripped even more after that, and I ripped a lot of surging, chasing that stupid Pikachu. And it's like, I should have learned my lesson with how much I opened of Cosmic, how much I've opened of Evolving, but I never learned my lesson. If I'm having fun, I'm going to enjoy it. That's how it is.
Surging, we did a mass opening of for singles, and we opened 60 boxes of Surging. We got one Pikachu SIR.
Yeah, I gave Alex cases of Surging, and he pulls 2 of them. So I gave him the cases that had them in it.
Should have scanned them.
I should have.
Oh, I think a super chat. Wish Nikki. When booster box authentication, in my opinion, this would send sealed collecting into a frenzy. Isn't Isn't one of the auction houses using CT scanners to authenticate?
Golden CT scan, that Chinese base first edition box or base unlimited box. Yeah.
So I don't understand why PSA couldn't use that to grade booster boxes.
I would anticipate in the next couple of years, I think someone will do it. I would be surprised if either CGC and Fanatics, they have some kind of a partnership. If they weren't doing it, or if like PSA, eBay Golden, if they weren't doing it, I think someone will.
It makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if packs are still a thing, like who's not going to want a full graded box? And it's again, it's the authentication nowadays. Like especially when boxes get older, that's when transactions get so much harder. Is people, they don't want to spend that kind of money, especially with all the fakes and resealed stuff out there. It's like I think the authentication more than anything is going to be worth more than the grade itself. I mean, I'm sure the grade's obviously going to be a big deal with the boxes, like it always is. But I mean, just having authentication is going to be huge to just transact these boxes back and forth.
Yeah,
and then get them encapsulated so they're already easier to ship without getting damaged. Like, I just think it's a net positive for the hobby. Like, whatever side aisle you're on with grading and all that, it's just great to have it authenticated and protected.
I think, Dan, we talked about this. Like, if there was grading for booster boxes, then we'd probably crack all our cases.
Yeah. It would be good. It would be good for the sealed case investors because more would get cracked. So the people who kept them sealed would be even better off. And like already behind you, you've already got like thick acrylic cases. All you need is somebody who will etch a grade into those, put a label on those, and sonically weld them shut, right? Like those are all acrylic cases. Sonically weld them shut, slap some kind of a thing on it, and then boom, we're cooking.
But the thing with cracking cases, right? Like this is case fresh, and look at like the top. Like this is fresh out of a case. And
imagine how brutal.
That's basically worthless now.
Be opening up.
Like a lot. Like imagine that. Like you open a Phantom Forces case, I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah,
heartbroken. He says,
"Never open that thing. You're gambling. You're gambling."
Oh, we got another one. Jansel, appreciate you, man. I wanted to know if newly released sets are really this expensive. Prismatic is now $9,500 to master. Is Prismatic going to remain that special, or is the current market really the factor? Yeah, no, this is not normal. The thing with Prismatic is why it'll definitely be down if it gets reprinted in the ground and stuff. The reason why Prismatic is probably going to be one of the most expensive sets to ever master is the Pokeballs and Master Balls. Like having all the and the amount of SIRs, having that amount of hits that are that hard to hit, and all the Pokeball and Master Balls, I think it's always going to be one of the most expensive master sets ever, no matter how many reprints or all that comes. It's just the way it is. It's too big.
Yeah, it is massive set.
5-10 years from now, it would not surprise me if they did another set like a la Prismatic Evolutions with God packs, with very high chases, with massive sets of SIRs and IRs and stuff. But yeah, it's a wild set. It's crazy. It's crazy how you can spend $12-13 and open what's a God pack go for just raw now, like a few grand. You can. The upside is just nuts.
How many have you guys pulled any? Has Ponger, PK pulled any, or Old School you pulled any?
One.
I've gotten
pulled one.
A full God pack?
I got one.
A true God pack.
That's sweet. Yep. I've gotten 3 demi God packs. No actual full God packs.
I've got 3 demis and one God.
Sweet.
I don't know how many demis we
did.
But
out of how many packs did you rip in order to hit that?
5,600, and we hit it like in our first 1,000, I think.
See, Dan knows. Nick, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like, was it like a couple thousand, 5,000, 10,000?
You guys gotta have spreadsheets. You guys gotta be up on this. Come on.
Like how many packs?
I would say under 2,000. I don't know if it was over 1,000. It was probably between 500 and 2,000.
Like
somewhere in that range.
5,000 packs to experience this, like.
I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. Like, because I feel like I've opened more than that since and haven't pulled another one. So,
yeah, that's the thing. I have no idea. I've opened 3. Well, I've sold 3,000 packs.
Look at Paradox Rift.
I don't know.
Can you make his screen bigger? Can you click his screen and make it big?
You should be able to make me full screen.
I can.
You should be able to
somehow. I don't know how. Yeah.
Hold on.
That's
there it is.
PK and Ponga last week on Fanatics. That's what we did personally.
There we go.
4,500 packs total, and that was the breakdown.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
how
that looks
far
about
down
right to me. Like,
one is getting.
the only thing that's weird is the Obsidian too. Like for me, it's Crown 151, Paladin Fates, Prismatic. It's weird that 151's not up there for you.
Yeah.
But look, like you have Drowsy, so now Scarlet and Violet base is open. Astral Radiance is the
For
Guard
sure.
Cynthia. So those sets are usually way lower, and now they're higher because of that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I have to say, like I think the Obsidian is primarily shipped sealed. So one thing that Fanatics has is I have an affiliate link where if you sign up through my link, you get $25 for free. So what PK and Pongo will do is that they'll do like 4 packs of a cheaper set that you get basically for free if you come into the stream. So sometimes we might sell 500 of a set because we had it all week as our $25 promo thing.
Question: Old School seems pretty chill.
Oh, thanks.
Somebody asked about Hawk Lugia, the Terapagos UPCs. Hill's got them for 98. They're MSRP 119.90. Where do you see them in a year or two? You mentioned they didn't print as much as the Prismatic and 151 UPCs. I believe I've heard that. Yeah.
There's a lot of Terapagos UPCs. There was a shit ton printed of those.
Oh, there were more. So he said they didn't print as much.
Who did?
No, this is what he's saying in the comments. So I don't know.
No, they like my place. They got like an abundance. They still have like stacks and stacks and stacks of them.
But do you think it's because they're not a popular product, or they printed as much as they did 151 and Terapagos and the other ones?
It could be because it's not as popular. Like look at the promos in that. They're like mid.
The Lapras is good. The other two are not.
Yeah, I like. I have a soft spot for Lapras. I'm excited about that new Lapras coming out. Like
that looks so good.
So good. The new set,
I bought them. I bought them when they were 75.
The Cynthia's beautiful. Like this new set, like this first half, Heatwave Arena would be like one of the best sets in Scarlet Violet era. Just this half, like this could be the Evolving Skies of Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What set is that though?
The Team Rocket, Destined Rivals, dude. The first half, I'd be happy with the set just with this first half. I'd be like, holy shit, this is the set, and this is.
So are we talking like 300 pre-release?
It could be. It really could be. I'm not happy about it, but it truly could be.
So what's the verdict on Terapagos? Is that a buy? You think? Anybody?
I mean, it has Twilight Masquerade, Paradox. No, it doesn't have. Does it have Twilight?
I forget what packs come inside.
There are like almost all the sets in there. Yeah.
Too much air. I'd rather put the same amount of money into loose packs of something. But it's all about like what are your outlets? Like I have a live streaming operation.
Hold on. Even without that, what's your guys' take on investing in loose packs nowadays because of the live rip and ships?
So
I think
pallet
your
number
specialty
2
set makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Pallet
Before I
number
never believed
1.
in it. I've definitely changed my mindset. Like people always, people are so afraid to like, change their minds. Always like, you're flip flopping. You said this. Like I did say that before. And now it's changed because the market's changed.
The market's changed. I've been exposed to a live streaming operation and what that looks like. I was having this conversation this morning with my dad. He's like, what are these boxes? These look different. Booster cases, ETB cases are primarily what's on pallet number 1. Problem is, on my live streams, I don't sell booster boxes. I don't sell booster cases. I don't sell ETB cases. I don't like. I'm able to sell booster packs at 110% of market. I'm able to get slight premium because of the show, the entertainment, whatever people pay, and I'm able to buy them. I'm able to buy them at 80%. I can't buy a booster case of Evolving Skies at 80%. I guess loose packs even too. I pay more closer to 90% on Evolving Skies, but there's just a built-in margin there. Going back to talking about stocks, you have to buy and sell at a fixed price. With packs, you have more freedom. And some people in chat might bring up like, oh, aren't you afraid of weighing and piping and scanning and all these different things? You definitely do need to be careful. You need to make sure but the way that I think Nick buys the same way too. The way that we buy generally, people send us the product first. We're able to vet it. We're able to verify it, and then we pay. Do you really think someone is going to try to like send us scam packs and then we have all the power? We have the I just inherently the way that we buy, it's not impossible, but it's way less likely of an issue.
Yeah, and then everyone talks. Like, I mean, I think they would have to know that. Like, we could talk to each other. Like, hey, have you bought from this guy before? Was it good? The packs were good? Yep. Okay, cool. It's like, if someone sent that to somebody, they would get the name gets around. It's like, yeah, that guy sends those packs. Okay, never mind. No, I can't buy from him.
And if you went to a live stream and you like I did the math in my video on Monday, if you opened 36 packs, if you opened 72 packs in a row and you literally had no hits anywhere, you would have them isolated. Like I just bought 200 packs of this set from that guy.
Yeah.
You'd refund everyone from that shipment. You would like go figure out what was up and you'd put word out. You like, hey Alex, I just bought from this dude and he just never buy from this guy. Like word would get around, it would get sorted out. Thankfully haven't run into it yet, but that's one thing with pallet too. I did 1,080. So I use a 16 by 1410 box. I double box it. 1,080 packs fit in it like perfectly. I did on pallet 2. There's 2,160 packs of Crown Zenith and 1,080 packs of 151. When you look at my chart again, it's like this might be a week or two's worth of packs. In by 2030, what are those packs going to be? Are they going to be $15 a pack, 20, 30, $50 a pack? Who knows? But they'll probably sell at a slower rate. But it's just crazy to put away a pallet. And it's like, we would burn through this pack quantity in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, man. That's scary to think about, actually.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Rich Pokebet said, I'm fine financially, but with the sets being so expensive at release, I find myself getting a booster box case a set. Should I break down my BB cases and sell 3 boxes and use profits to invest more or keep? Man, that's all about like your personal goals and things. Like everyone's going to have a different style. Like my personal style has always been to sell eventually to get down to a 0 cost basis, or at least a low enough cost basis to where you're, basically, believe you're fine. I know we can always say things can drop, to 0, but like if I have a cost basis under like $80 a box, I feel relatively safe. Like I'm never going to lose. So as long as I get my cost basis down to like the 60s, 70s or something like that, I'm usually fine. I don't have to get to 0 on everything. But yeah, if it makes you feel, more confident and less, more at ease, yeah, sell some, keep some, get your cost basis down, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, but my you say it all the time. How much is the money going to help you? Because like I'm with the way things are going right now, I'm constantly thinking, should I sell my pack collection? I never look at it. It's sitting. It's not even with me. It's back at my mom's house in Massachusetts. So I just sell it, and then it's like, what would I do with the money? I really wouldn't have anything to do with it right now. So I'll hold on to it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you already have working capital and everything, and you're not like foregoing deals because you don't have the money, like,
yeah,
what's it gonna do, right?
Nick, you should have bought another few thousand packs of Crown Zenith or whatever. You should have bought it all before it went up as much as it did, right? You should have deeper inventory. You're the one saying that there's no way it slows down between now and the end of the 30th, you said. So you gotta just invest deeper.
Look at your average player. A true story of how a robot made his family financially independent.
Gotta love UAP. But yeah, like Alex and Nick said, I always say this, personal finance is very personal. Opportunity cost, everyone's opportunity cost is different. What else can you do with the money? It's reasonable to buy and sit on this stuff if you don't need the money for anything else. But if you're foregoing rent, if you have a spouse who's on the verge of like leaving you, we saw that that TikTok clip or whatever. Remember, somebody's like,
or the Dave Ramsey clip.
Yeah, like so it's all very personal. If it's detracting from your life in other ways, relationship in other ways, absolutely reconsider what you're doing here. But if it's all excess money and you can risk it, and yeah.
Or take the Pokey Plumber approach, and if you sell like 1 box, get pissed off and buy a whole case.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, there's so many times he'll sell like a breakthrough box and be like, yeah, man, I just hurt, so I went and bought a case. Like a case of what? A breakthrough. Like, oh.
While I have you guys on here, have you ever had like someone like buy a lot of something and they have like no reviews on eBay? Like I jacked up the prices so they wouldn't sell, and they literally paid for the cosmic box, and then they did another purchase of the unbroken, and they had like no feedback. Like, is that not sketchy?
Seller protection exists. Put signature on it, and you're good to go. Like that's my take on it.
Well, I can't
join eBay all the time.
The shit out of me, because like I've been hearing so many stories of people getting like burnt. Like I've heard what happened to Alex with the credit cards. They could say it's like a stolen credit card, then you lose your money. You have no choice. So it's like, are you going to sell, over $3,500 in boxes just for a loss with no feed? Like I usually sell to people that have feedback. Like at least have like 20 something feedback, not only 6. Like, I don't know. It just
It's definitely one of the things that the slab kind of people have over us now is that eBay authenticity.
Guarantee.
Like if I send
huge.
these boxes and they could be like, oh, they're fake or something, right? It doesn't matter how
or
good my
they
feedback
rip
is.
it open and say it was reseal or what
Yes.
they took your box, put a reseal one in there, say that's one you sent them. Yeah.
Yes. And like I hear so many horror stories, and like if they had good feedback, I would be like, all right, they're spending all this extra money, I'll sell it to them. But it just made no sense why they're paying. There's like 2 listed for cheaper, and they had like, you know, good feedback. Why are you buying these at this crazy price and then you have no feedback? It scared the crap out of me.
They probably watched your videos and they're like, man, I want to buy one of the famous Pokeplumber boxes. And
Well,
then
I put on my Instagram, I said, hey, if you're on here and you bought these for me, just let me know so then I can authenticate that it's a real person. Like that's or it's not like a scumbag trying to rip me off.
Man, you got a lot of love in the chat today, brother. Killing it with the vids.
Thanks, guys.
He loves his IDGAF personality. Old school, do you ever miss making the YouTube vids?
Yes and no.
Gavin, what's up, brother?
I do have a lot of people on the live saying they want me to get back into YouTube. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. Did any of you guys see I'm viral on a YouTube short? It's got like over
really?
1 million views.
What?
Where I'm acting like a complete idiot.
Wait, what is it? What are you doing?
I need to see
it's
this.
a vendor POV.
Yeah, can we pull this up? Or if you don't
where can I
want
find it? Where can I find it?
Probably.
Spides Pokemon, but it's
Is
a
it on
vendor
Instagram or what?
POV where I'm going up to a table and I say he had good prices on stuff that I knew I was going to be able to sell for more. So I said, hey, if I take these promos, this box at your sticker price, would you do $1,000 on an XY Evolutions box? And in my mind, I thought he had the Evolutions box priced at $1,100. But in reality, he had it priced at $1,000. So it's like, if I buy these at sticker, would you
Oh my goodness.
Nick, anybody, shout out to Old School Pokemon. Nick loves paying way too much for inventory
like, that's
all the
insane.
time.
Like,
So
Poke Plumber gets mad at me for the same thing though.
I would have offered $700 for the Evolutions box.
Nick loves selling stuff at MSRP when it's like double MSRP. Nick loves working for way too little money. Nick is a treasure.
Dude, Poke Plumber, like someone will reach out to him to sell something and he'll say no. They'll reach out to me, I'll buy it, and then he'll get mad at me for making the market price go up.
Because they would have sold it to me. No, they would have sold me that exact product if he didn't just say, okay, I'll pay your price. That's why I was mad.
Hey,
damn
Poke
streamers,
Davin's
they
in the
get all
house.
kinds of
What's up,
margin.
dude? Thanks for the super chat, man.
Yeah, it's easier for you guys to buy because you're going to sell it for 100% or 110%. I'm putting it away.
Yep.
Hey, Retro's got
There
ways
you
to
go.
spend your money.
I've bought some
Retro will
stuff off
spend
you
it.
recently. I'm excited.
Oh man, Retro's in the chat trying to catch up, saying thanks for the kind words. Comparisons are the thief of joy. That is so true, man. Dude, that is so true. Like just in life in general, it's like no one's got the same goals. I feel like people, it doesn't matter what, especially if you're competitive, which I think all of us are to an extent. No matter what you get into, it's like you'll see someone else doing something and you want to compete with them. Whether it be like in content creation with views or subs, whether it be in streaming with like numbers or business with numbers, whether it be whatever you're doing, it's like you want to compete and you got to like always step back and say, there's like levels to this stuff. And other people may be operating with like relationships you don't have or like on Fanatics or eBay Live like you guys are with platforms that I can't even get access to. Or like, you know, operating with like more money or capital than you have. And it's like, you have to understand that, you know, not the competition it's not a level playing field. It's not like going on the soccer field and all playing the game with the same amount of rules. It's just like everyone's playing with different rules. And you have to understand that like, you really just need to be competing with yourself. The same thing with investing. Like stop worrying about, well, this guy made this much on XRP. Well, he made that much on NVIDIA. Well, he got a whole bunch of 151. It's just like, dude, just do the best with what you can with the risk level you're happy with and go with that. Stop worrying about trying to compete because everyone's playing with different rules.
And it can only steal your joy if you allow it to. Like when I look at Alex's channel, Alex, I don't remember exactly when you made your YouTube channel, but you're primarily like, or Do you remember when it was?
I think like 2022.
Yeah, I'm coming. So you're coming up on 3 years sometime.
Yeah, I'm
coming
like
up on
right
4
at 3 years. I think it was
sometime.
like February. I think I'm like right at 3 years.
When I see a channel that's like primarily finance content, it's kind of a different angle than mine. But some people would be like, oh, damn, I've been on YouTube for 4 years. I'm only barely coming up on 7,000 subs. Alex blew by me. He's got 28,000. Like I could allow that to steal my joy. I could be really down in the dumps about, oh my God, I can't believe. For me, it's like, no, my buddy is crushing it. I love that he's doing that. It shows that there's like upside. If I wanted to do more frequent videos, if I wanted to like,
That's what I was going to say. If you don't post,
or
that
I can
much.
take it negatively. So it only thieves your joy if you allow it to. I see Retro coming out of nowhere doing 5 million this year. That's great for him. Like I do business with him. Him succeeding is me succeeding. So it comparison can be the thief of joy, but if you handle it properly and you handle it from the right mental state, it can be like, hey, like I've been in the hobby for 11 years. I remember from an early time and still today. I look at Rusty, TCA Gaming. He's goals. It's like I look at Rusty and it's not like, oh man, that guy has all this stuff. I'll never be able to have all the stuff he has. It's like if I put my head down and I grind and I do my stuff, like I can get to where that guy is someday. And you know what? When I like where I am today is in advance of where Rusty was when I started. So it's like he's kept going and he's like further ahead now than I am today still. But because I didn't use it to thieve my joy, because I used it as motivation. If I work hard, I can get to where this guy is. Well, he kept going. He didn't stop and wait for me. So he's further ahead, but I've surpassed like where he was initially too. So it's like I'm using the same comparison that some will use to get depressed. I'm using it to get motivated. I'm using it for like joy. And some people use it to like be miserable. So a lot of life is your perspective and your like headspace.
And YouTube's a terrible metric too, because like YouTube's all about consistency. It's just like if you wanted to post every single day, you'd probably be the same place. It's like, so look at someone who like took it like upon themselves to like start posting every day and throw in shorts and all this stuff. It's just like, yeah, you're gonna see more subs and view growth, but it doesn't like mean anything about the content. It's just like, oh, this guy wanted to post more.
So I used to say it to Alex all the time because he'd look at something and bring himself down all the time. I use the same that exact saying. I would say that
Stuff definitely used to bother me a lot more for sure.
But I like anytime like I would see like Ryan's collection, I would look at his collection and be like, fuck, I need to get that case. I got to get that case. Like it wanted me to get better and grow more. And then I'd work harder to, grade this lab, sell it for more, than put into this product. And by looking at what these guys had, I didn't get envious. I didn't give them hate. I was like, holy shit, I can do this. And then over time, everyone wants instant gratification. They want it like that. It doesn't work that way. My collection took years. It took, 7 years to get where I'm at right now. And I grinded harder after seeing all these people's collections. I remember looking at Nick's Instagram back then, looking at all the vintage packs he had. I was like, all right, I got to have an art set of jungle. I got to have an art set, base set. It was like I would set these little goals and I would achieve them. And over time, it just kept growing and growing. I didn't take the money and put it out all at once. Like, yes, back then things were cheaper, but you grow with the hobby and you just have the patience. And it's like, it gives you, it's such a great feeling when you achieve these goals. So in my video, I said, set goals and achieve it. Don't expect the instant gratification because you'll get depressed that way. Over time, you will inevitably get what you want if you work hard enough. And look, it's all about the mindset. Yes.
Smart goals.
We're doing it. We're doing it, Stacked Frogs.
Oh,
did a
boy.
video.
All for you, buddy. All for you, man. Come on. 151. The greatest set ever. Where's the no God pack? No God pack. We got nothing. Come on. This is why Alex doesn't rip packs for himself. That's why.
You got scammed. That one must
Just
have
for
been
you,
scammed
though.
or something.
You know, that was probably one of the resealed ones. That was the resealed pack. I grabbed it out of the wrong bin.
Dogs.
I give those packs to the
sniffing
ones I
dogs.
don't like. Oh man, I appreciate you, Stacked Frogs. We tried, man. We tried. No, those are all great things to say, man. I agree with all of it. It's like I love seeing everyone be successful right now in the hobby, and I hope everyone's like, does well if the hobby isn't like this. I hope everyone's like, putting themselves in a position where they can be like successful long term. Like that's what I am always thinking about like day in and day out is like the long term. And like me and Puggy Plumber talk about it too. It's just like, you know, especially for all three of us, having our business and like other things attached to this is a lot different for just like people who are just in the hobby or collecting or investing in it, because, you know, when your income is also tied to this, you have to like take it even more cautious and more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys see anything else you wanted to take? I know Old School's got a stream tonight, so I don't want to keep him too long. See if we get 99% of gamblers quit right before they hit.
Oh, God.
You know how Dan just pulled up that SMART goal thing? I'm going to pull it down the rip and shifts. It's like every so often, just pull up that quote.
There's that like comic or whatever where guy's got a pickaxe. He's turned around and he's got his head down. And then this far ahead, there was just diamonds. There was like a big cache of diamonds.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
Oh, here we go. Atomic wants to know about thoughts on picking up Sun and Moon sets for a few hold for a few years. I'm assuming they will be the next release remake after ZA. On another note, Sun and Moon base is the same price as Sword and Shield. Yeah.
Well, like tag teams again, doing tag teams again. It could be.
I feel like everything's pumped so hard this year.
I don't personally. I don't know about you guys. I know a little bit about Pokey Plumber. I guess we can all share. Like, I have exactly one XY era booster box. It's my Evolutions one that's in my PC, I guess, that I'm going to keep here forever. I have no XY era inventory. I have no Sun and Moon era inventory. No cases, no boxes. I have packs. I have loose packs for the streams. I try to keep in stock Evolutions, Hidden Fates, Shining Legends, sets like that. But I have no sealed boxes, no sealed cases of any XY or Sun and Moon era. And the only way that I'll get it generally is like, hey, say I actually did find a pack near me. Say that I wanted to do like an event, a box break. Maybe I'll buy a cosmic box at 80, 85%, 90% to break it for a stream. But me personally, not because I don't think they'll perform well, but I just don't invest in stuff that's old, because I think generally putting that same amount of money into loose crown packs, loose 151 packs, loose whatever, I think that will serve me better. So that's just not because I think it'll do bad, just because I think it's less risky and I can do better elsewhere.
But
I've
Dan,
got
this
a
all
handful
the
of
time.
them about to sell, Plumber.
I say this all the time. Like right now we're in this boom. So now think about, it might not happen, but if there is another boom, who's going to have Sun and Moon cases and XY cases? Not many people.
Pokey Plumber, call him up.
It's true.
We're all,
I mean,
the
it is
three of
true.
us.
That's
the
why
three
I'm
of us
not
will go in
selling.
on
I
your
want to
cases.
wait until the next
I know.
boom. And it's crazy. I know it sounds insane because it might not even happen.
To
But
say it in a boom, yeah.
but if it does happen again, because no one thought COVID boom was ever going to happen again.
Mhm.
But the way
to add on
see
to
it-
what Dan said too, you can't even crack boxes anymore. Like the XY and Sun and Moon box prices have advanced so much without the packs, and it's like, I mean, you have to overcharge so much from what the packs are going for to even make it worth it.
yeah,
But people do value.
They
like
do.
I just bought a cosmic box off of Radar, and I paid pretty much market for it. But people do pay a premium, knowing that it's going to be coming from a sealed box.
box, yes.
Yeah.
But it's like here, like Evolving Skies, right? Like $1,300 a box, that comes out to $36 a pack without making any money on it. It's like you can buy it for 20 something, or someone's really gonna pay 36. It's like it gets to that point where it's like, I don't know if it's really gonna break.
But
you know?
everyone that's buying from everyone's group is different, right? Like your buyers are different than someone else's buyers. Because I've watched
True.
Godzilla sell crazy ass boxes like it's nothing. So it depends on.
That's actually
people
true.
in the chat.
Everyone's customer base is very different.
Very
Mhm.
different.
Yep.
I have people reach out all the time wanting to like sell me like stuff. I'm like, I don't know if my customer base is right for that. Like maybe like reach out to Dan or somewhere in Old School. It's like, you know, I mean, I know even XY and Sun and Moon packs go a little slower on my stream than other stuff. Like once the packs for me hit like, I would say $30-ish plus, they start to get really, really slow.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm a big data guy. I can't wait until the end of 2025 when I can look at the year in review and I can do one massive plot and I can show, like, remember that week where we sold 1,200 packs of Paradox Rift? And then like this week, we might sell 100. We might sell, like, I don't know. And just what sets come out of nowhere. Like Scarlet and Violet picked up when the Drowsy did its thing. you'll have those things that happen tied to like singles going nuts, tied to some reprint news, tied to whatever. I'm really excited to see how much variance, what's like the standard deviation. So you might have a set that you sell 5,200 packs in a year. Well, that's 100 packs a week, but you might have 25 weeks where you sold 0, and you might have 5 weeks where you sold 500 of each, right? Like it's fascinating. And that's just one operation that is not going to be indicative necessarily of what Nick did, of what Alex did, of what other people did.
Yeah.
Here, Dan, I got a tailor-made question for you.
Absolutely. eBay is definitely pay to win in some respects. Same thing. You walk into your supermarket. There's 30 aisles in your supermarket, maybe. People pay a premium to get those end cap placements. Like Coca-Cola. I was just drinking one earlier. Coca-Cola, there's a soda aisle, and the soda aisle will have Coke, and it'll have Pepsi, it'll have orange soda and root beer and everything. Whatever soda's down at the end, they're not getting that for free. They're paying some amount of premium to get there. They're selling the product for slightly cheaper, and it works. If you stick this in someone's face, they're going to be more likely to buy it. And so what does a promo ad rate do on your eBay listing? It force feeds it to buyers. I've been able to sell, like here's one card in particular. When this card was like $180 PSA 10, I was selling them consistently for $200, $210, paying a 2% ad rate. So I was paying an extra $4 to sell them for a $20 premium. That's definitely a thing done the right way.
Yeah,
I can't take credit. I got to give Dan credit. But after I watched his video and data and I put it in, implemented it, I don't really list anything on eBay without a promotion anymore. Unless it's like a really niche item where there's not a lot of competition. If it's any like modern item with a lot of competition and pages of listings, I always promote them now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Yep. Yeah, I would not recommend if you have like a PSA 10 reverse hollow Hole on Phantoms card that you are literally the one listed on eBay. It's not going to do as much for you there. But if you have like a ubiquitous card like this, if you have a card like this, if you have a card like this, and there's just tons and tons of them, thousands of listings, hundreds of listings, that's where paying for the end cap, paying for the promoted rate, that will often be worthwhile.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Old School Pokemon, guys, is going live in like an hour. We have tell them where to find you, Nick.
So I'm on eBay Live, which I know not many people probably know about that. But yeah, I'll be on eBay Live in an hour from now, doing dollar auctions till we got about $250 auctions, and we'll do 2-pack ripping after that. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Cool. And then Dan, what's the Ponga and PK schedule like these days?
Yeah, so Ponga's live Thursday nights and Sunday nights on Fanatics Live. PK is live every other night. PK is also live Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern till 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern, depending on the day. But we're live 7 nights a week, 5 days a week on Fanatics. We're ripping 4,500 packs a week. We are if you're a sealed investor out there, we're doing our best to grow your gains by just shredding the product left and right. So
I know I've talked to Ponga many times. Like, have you been able to nudge him to the point of full time at all, or he has no interest still?
I definitely don't want to nudge. If he wanted to go, I would fully support it. I would send product.
He's been very clear about it. He wants to stay as like part time.
I think he's very happy where he's at right now. PK was a little bit of a surprise that he did it so quickly. It wasn't a surprise that I figured it would happen eventually, but when he made that call to me, it's like, oh damn, already we're here. So yeah, I'm fully supportive if he wants to, but I'm definitely not. I never tell people what to buy, what to sell. I definitely never tell people to quit their jobs for Pokemon.
I mean, me and PK have had our differences, man. But when I heard that news, I reached out to him that next day and told him congratulations, because like, dude, I know how I felt when I was able to quit my job and do this full time. And like I said, yeah. I know everyone's like, it's a cool thing right now to hate businesses and hate all of us, but it's just like, dude, to be able to do what you love full time, there's no better thing out there than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Awesome. I'm coming up on 4
really
years.
Cool you've been able to do that. And then Plumber, man, I mean, other than a new video every single day these days, what else, man? What else you got going on?
Hanging out with my son. That's it. Some work here.
What about shows? Is there anyone up in the Northeast that can come see it? Some shows coming up?
NJTCG 2-day show in April. So that's going to be a good show.
That's the RNG Games, his wife, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm like 4.5 hours away from those. I need to make one at some point.
Dude, there's always really cool people there. It's pretty good. It's
Dude,
like
it's worth
mini-
the drive for the weekend just to go visit that freaking mall again. That place is
Oh,
crazy.
the Dream Mall. Yeah.
Is it close by? It's close to the Dream Mall.
No. I live close to that mall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That mall is like super close, and I've only been to it like 3 times.
My kids love the water park.
Yeah, my kids love the Nickelodeon park with all like the rides and everything. We had so much fun there.
But that's
It's a
right.
good
That's the
time.
one that we did. We didn't do the water park yet, but yeah.
Yeah, it has really neat stuff.
Well, guys, we're going to end it there. Guys, everyone's linked. Dan's Old Schools. We got the Pokey Flips podcast where you can catch Dan and Old School every other week on that. And also Pokey Plumbers links are all in the description below, guys. So make sure to check all of them out. Just go give them a sub. It takes like 1 second. Check Nick out on his streams on eBay. You might be able to find some deals there. And that's all we got, guys. Appreciate everyone showing up. Thanks to all of you for jumping on. And we'll be all back here on another one soon in the future. We're out.
Thanks, chat.